All right. So I didn't get it actually because I can't access Roll20 from work anymore. For some reason, it's like I guess restricted. So like I always have
They
to.
caught on.
Shoot.
Yeah, they finally caught on. Like I'm able to like log into Roll20, but I can't actually get inside of a game. There's some API or something like in the game that like prevents it from loading, so it just always gets stuck on the loading screen. So unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to actually look at everybody's PCs just to make sure that they were all finished. And I still can't get the videos to work, so I'm just gonna have to deal with it. But Susan, you're recording the session anyway, right?
Mhm.
All right, cool. So I hope you guys don't mind that we're recording the session for posterity. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about Abelard, right? So
Yes.
just give me at a high level, just walk me through again what you, how you know Cassandra. And
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm down if you don't want to have that complication, but my idea was that I had met her briefly helping out with, like, an adventure while I was coming home from my time at the monastery and traveling around.
Now, how long ago was this?
Probably 40 years ago. I don't know.
Far.
How old is she? Is that too long?
Yeah, too far. So
Okay. So
yeah.
we can just say I haven't met her.
She's 10.
You say like maybe in the last 20 years. Would the last 20 years work?
No, I'm far too old for that.
No, it's fine.
Too old for that bullshit? Yeah. Grumpy Gramps.
Yeah.
Grumpy
No, I mean I'm
Gramps.
like 70 years old halfling, so I'm like a middle-aged halfling.
Okay.
But I did all my traveling when I was young. So we can just say that like I know somebody from the town who asked for my help. Or just I'm down with it just being like totally random, and that I came to answer a call after somebody convinced me.
That's up to you. I mean, if you want. So let me ask. You have a business, right? Your character has a like kind of an alcohol business, or like you own
Abelard's Ale House.
Yeah, and you brew your own ale, essentially, right?
Yeah, I dabble.
Okay, you dabble. A little dabble, do you? Anyway,
Yeah,
so you do you sell your ale to local towns in the Good Hills? Maybe that would
be a
connection. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that could be a possibility then. So maybe you sell your ale to a specific place called Two Cuts Tap House.
Okay.
Okay, it's owned by a guy named Grim Two Cuts. He's a dwarf. And,
Gran?
No, Grim.
Grim Two Cuts.
Yeah, Grim Two Cuts. He's a dwarf. He's got 3 daughters, all dwarves. And basically, like one of the ales that they sell at the tap house is one of your brews.
Mm-hmm. It's called Able Ale.
So maybe on like one of a recent visit to the town, or maybe in an effort to do business with the town, or maybe sample some new brews, or provide them some of your more experimental concoctions. You learn of an interesting quandary that the town has, which is that this local hero by the name of Cassandra Smallborough, who is a stout halfling, has become ill, and the reason why is because she was assigned as a negotiator on behalf of a guy in town called Ragnar Ravenrock. And let me just show you actually a couple of pictures here, so that way you know who these people actually are. So I'm going to show you first Grim Two Cuts. That's what Grim looks like. He's kind of a very dour-looking fellow. He's called Grim Two Cuts because he's a retired adventurer like you, and was known for carrying around a double-bladed battle axe. So, like I said, he settled down pretty significantly long time ago to open up his own tap house. Ragnar, who you've never met, you kind of hear through hearsay at the bar that that this shit is going down. Life moves on as normal in Plim's Delve, but basically, Cassandra was a negotiator on behalf of negotiating a deal for Ragnar between them, a union called the Good Hills Union, and a budding nation to the north called Ravenar. Okay, so there's a couple of things here that is kind of like local lore to the world. Ravenar is a really, really new nation. Like just within the last 1 or 2 years, they have formed basically on the northern border of Kioland, and it's a nation entirely composed of goblinoids and humanoids that have seen the light of a goddess named Lydia and have converted to good. So basically, it's composed of like kobolds and half ogres and hobgoblins and goblins that have essentially like entered or been within the surrounding the confines, the borders of Ravenar, and have spontaneously changed their alignments and renounced their evil ways
Because of Lydia.
because of the goddess Lydia. Okay. Another thing that you learn is that Ravenar, as a budding nation, has a lot of food to offer. They do a lot of their own farming, but they don't have many riches. So they have, in essence, an excess of grain and foodstuffs, and they're looking to trade that. Okay. In return for gold, which they can use to buy, weapons and labor, and bring, goods to within the country and things like that. Now, it's a very, really small country, in kind of unclaimed territory in the northern border of Kioland. So I'm kind of getting into a whole lot of detail here that I didn't kind of want to, but because it's not super important for the adventure, but. The reason why Cassandra was involved is because, like I said, she was negotiating this trade deal between Ragnar, the nation of Ravenar, and the Good Hills Union. So the third party in all of this is the Good Hills Union, which is kind of like a union composed of demi-humans, gnomes, dwarves, and halflings that live in the Good Hills and basically defend their rights as demi-humans against the more popular races that have more power in the surrounding lands, like elves, half-elves, and humans. So essentially, the Good Hills Unions, they band up and they, have more power that way. They're able to, enact their rights as a union to fight for, their own kind.
What are demi-humans exactly? Like, is a halfling one of those?
Yeah. So
Okay,
dwarves.
so I'd probably know the Good Hills Union then.
Yeah, you could even potentially be like a member that pays their dues, in order to. They have a lot of influence. They're kind of like
protect the ale.
Yeah, they're kind of like a political labor workforce that has a lot of power within this region. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So Barnabas, you may also know of the Good Hills Union, probably, if you're from this area.
Oh yeah, and I definitely travel too, so I absolutely would have encountered it.
Yeah. So Abelard, you meet a guy. You find out, through all this shit that's happened the day that you happen to arrive, that Cassandra, during the negotiations, the rumor is that she was poisoned. And and the people that from the Good Hills Union that were there, 3 members, were put under house arrest while they investigate what's going on. And when I say they, I mean the townsfolk. Okay, so and also all efforts, from what you hear through the grapevine, is that all efforts to try to cure her have failed. They, standard magic, which they don't have really very many magic users at all in town, haven't succeeded. You find out that she's under the care of a specific hill dwarf druid named Elaine Hailheart. And Hailheart has, basically has taken Cassandra under her care, but has been unsuccessful in curing her. So, getting desperate because she's a local hero, the townsfolk leadership take it upon themselves to basically send out for aid. They put out the call to adventurers, and they're going to go to the nearest large city, which is called Krylor, and they're going to look for people to hire, particularly adventurers, to try to investigate, this further.
Well, I could come along. I'm very convincing.
Sure. So I don't know what possesses you to do that, though. I mean, you're a 70-year-old retired monk, right? Who makes his own beer. And, so what is the sudden change of heart that you would want to, go along with the person they're sending? Well, you find out they're actually sending a guy by the name of Bransby Notterberry. And
what a name!
Yeah. So Bransby is kind of like a young, happy-go-lucky halfling.
All
right.
Well, this guy can't take care of himself. He clearly needs a babysitter.
That's gonna live in my nightmares.
Little Bransby, like rustle his hair.
Yeah, he's really young. So you find out that Bransby is being sent to. Can you guys still hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you find out that Bransby's still going out. Is going to be the one that's going to Krylor to hire adventurers, on behalf of essentially on behalf of Ragnar Ravenrock, and town's leadership. So
yeah. I mean, we could say that Grim Two Cuts and I are somewhat pals from our tradings of ale.
So let me preface Grim Two Cuts' personality a little bit. He's kind of a no nonsense, for lack of a better term, asshole. He's very grim and dour. He never smiles. Loves beer, and talks very passionately about it. But it's really his daughters that run the show, and he essentially is just kind of like a bouncer within his own tap house. He just sits behind the bar and observes and makes important decisions, but doesn't really get involved in the business too much more than that.
Yeah, I'm adventure occasionally when people ask me to. So being business partners with them, if anybody asks me to go help with this, I would reluctantly,
Okay. Yeah, they are offering a reward, and this may look good in terms of selling your beer here.
Yeah.
So if you were to maybe do this favor for the town, they would look upon you pretty kindly and set up some sort of contract. So you look at it as kind of a business opportunity, I guess.
I'll hand out my cards.
Fair enough.
You need good advertising.
Yeah, not to mention that Bransby is kind of really young, very naive, not experienced with the world type of halfling. So he's glad to have the help. And you also get the impression as you talk to Bransby, and he seems very excited that you're coming along with him. But you also can tell that he is he's a little on the side of having feelings for Cassandra. As you quickly learn, you can tell that whenever he talks about her, his eyes go bright and teary, and he gets a little red in the face.
She also a young halfling?
If you want to actually go see her, which they do allow you to because you agreed to go on the mission, you find her to be very very pretty. She's an adult halfling. She definitely seems like she is in her maybe 30s or 40s for a halfling, but she's still very pretty and blonde. You could tell that she is. Her eyes are closed, so you're not really sure what the color of her eyes are, but she looks very healthy. Aside from what looks to be some slight black veins that seem to be running through her skin, and a paleness to her flesh. That's what she looks like.
She reminds me of my niece. If my niece was pale and had black veins.
Yeah. So a couple of other people in town that you meet are the leader of town, a guy by the name of Cecil Shining Beard. He's kind of a frumpy-looking dwarf.
He has no beard. Oh, I get it.
He's kind of got a beard.
He's all mustache.
He's all mustache and chops. So,
Steady chops.
but yeah. And then also, as I described, Elaine Halhart, who's actually quite attractive in her own right, but definitely mature, a mature, older-looking dwarf. So this town, Plymsdelve, is like 50% dwarves, about 30% halflings, and 15% gnomes. The rest of the population is just a smattering of humans. And it's not very large at all. It's about 1,000 people in total.
Okay.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the journey along the roads to Krylor is actually pretty uneventful. Those roads are very well protected. And just kind of show you a map here. I don't know if you actually got a chance to look at this or not, anyone. But yeah, so Plymsdelve is kind of like almost in the middle of the map. And if you look at the map, Krylor is pretty much southwest of that, past the small town of Girth. So you just travel along those roads, along those dotted lines there, which is about 100 miles. And it takes you about 4 days to reach the city of Krylor. So the rest of you guys, I assume, do not know each other. And you're kind of in between jobs at the moment. Maybe you're shopping or whatever the case is, but it's a gray, rainy day when you find yourself in Krylor in the Kingdom of Keoland. You know that the city itself is ruled by the Lady Laura Mans, and perusing the outdoor market, mostly comprised of wares crafted by the local demi-human populace, you see dwarven metalwork, gnomish pottery, halfling foodstuffs. But above it all, you hear a shrill voice that's crying above the din of the falling rain and the murmur of sellers and shoppers. And it's Bransby, for Abelard. Bransby has set up kind of like a little, wooden crate that he stands upon, and he's yelling at the top of his lungs, ringing a bell, trying to get the attention of any adventurers that would be willing to listen to his tale and get hired for this job.
I'm just smoking my pipe behind him.
Yeah, you're kind of just kind of lingering behind them,
scanning the crowd.
Sure. Okay. So, finding yourselves between jobs at the moment, you investigate the call for help, and you find a large-nosed, Lightfoot halfling with a paunch and curly brown hair. And he's repeating the same speech several times, begging that you wait to ask your questions until he's collected enough adventurers. And he says, "Help needed! Plymsdelve in dire straits! Mine owner, Ragnar Ravenrock, seeks aid! Local hero Cassandra Smallborough poisoned! Negotiations with Raven are crumbling! Departure immediately! Great reward!" And he's just like ringing his bell, his cowbell above his head. Looking around, so looking around, you see several others are there waiting for the halfling to explain and answer questions. And behind them is Abelard. So you can describe yourself. I know you look like your picture. So
I'm a middle-aged halfling with black hair and the little handlebar mustache, a tight bun. Learned that one from my monastery friends. And he has a deep, raspy voice from smoking his pipe a lot.
Oh, jeez, giant.
Yeah,
He's a giant.
he's actually a giant.
He's as tall as his chest is across.
and he's just kind of standing back and smoking his pipe and gazing over the crowd.
All right. What about the rest of you guys? What are you doing? Why don't you go ahead and describe yourselves? You see that there are a lot of other commoners here as well. People definitely not wearing any armor or carrying any weapons, and they seem to just kind of be, interested in the story or kind of admiring your armor and weapons, but you don't get the impression that they're going to actually help out. They're just more curious about what's happening. And most of them appear to be humans. Krylor itself is a very human-populated town. You do see the occasional halfling or other demi-human as well.
I'll say that I was coming back totally from shopping in the rain for some reason, because it's raining, right?
Yeah, it's lightly raining.
Okay.
So there's people out with old school parasols and things like that, but it's still quite busy here. Krylor's a pretty big city, and it looks just like you see on the picture now on the screen. It's filled with a lot of domed buildings of sandstone color.
Yeah, so I'm walking by and I hear him ringing a bell, and I'm usually very interested in helping people against the forces of evil. So, seeing this fun mystery adventure, I go into the crowd and walk up to Bransby and say, I'm a local adventurer. I can help you, my buddy old pal.
Oh, most excellent. Thank you very much. I think I've collected a few other adventurers here. What's that, Abelard?
Whoa. Excuse me, little girl. I think you're lost. We're looking for adventurers here. Heroes,
Psh. I flick my hair, which is long and pink and has kind of a glow to it. It looked like a young adult human. I think I can handle myself here, Grandpa.
I'm also very short, so you're looking down on me too.
Maybe you're standing on the crate or something. I don't know.
All right. If you can hit me.
He tries to chime in, and he's like, what is maybe we should just learn what she can do.
Come on, Gramps, let's arm wrestle. I bet I can take you.
Arm wrestle? Okay, now you're talking. All right. Let's arm wrestle.
I'm gonna kick the crate out to the side and put my arm on it.
You see a couple of the commoners, they're chuckling, they're kind of elbowing each other. Getting a kick out of the fact that a young adult girl is about to arm wrestle a very muscular looking halfling.
All right. Athletics?
Sure. All right. So where are you guys actually doing this? I guess Bransby steps down off of the crate he was standing down, and he's like, okay.
Bransby, get out of the way. This is important.
He hops down and kind of stands off to the side, unsure of what to do with himself. And meanwhile, Abelard and Nova square off against each other. It's actually at just the right height that you can kind of prop your arm up on it.
Go down
and
a bit.
Use that. Yeah. You have to kind of bend down a little bit, Nova, but for Abelard, it's perfect.
All right, let's do this.
So you kind of you ring hands. You both clasp each other's hands.
Mm-hmm.
Abelard's, I guess, is kind of really calloused and maybe rough. Or you describe what your hands feel like to each other.
It is so very soft. You think I'm an angel.
Mine are calloused and rough, but child-sized.
Fun-sized.
Breaker.
All right.
Okay.
So you look at each other square in the eyes. The crowd kind of hushes all around you for a brief moment, and you can see that there's a couple of other adventurers there as well. And Bransby's just kind of admiring Gavrien's armor for a moment. But then somebody yells out in the crowd, "All right, go ahead and start already."
I'll start moving in to see
All right.
what's all the commotion's about.
Yeah, stay with me.
Roll athletics.
So you guys can both roll athletics, Thren.
Oh yeah!
Oh.
Oh wow.
What's the deal with the +1? That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to
Not
get
bad.
the Stone of Good Luck to add, but it's already added, so I don't know why
Hmm.
why it says it like that.
All right, fair enough.
I'll figure that out then.
So Nova comes kind of close. You know, you
Uh-huh.
struggle there a little bit.
Yeah, it's a
You
back
know,
and forth.
It's a little bit of a back and forth, but come on, she's a little girl. She's no match for your huge halfling muscles. So.
Ooh, that was
I'm gonna say,
that was a good game, Grandpa. I haven't had a good game like that in a few months. I usually win them.
I just pick up my pipe, a little embarrassed that she even gave me a run for my money.
You see some,
All right, you can come.
you can see some copper coins exchanging hands in the crowd. A few disappointed townsfolk seem to disappointingly walk away.
I'll get
But,
you next time.
Yeah. A couple of the halflings in the crowd, they seem pleased with it, though. That's all fine and good. What did you say your name was, miss?
My name is Nova Dragonfly. It's pleased to meet you.
I'm Bransby Notabetty, and I see we have a couple of other adventurers here in the crowd. Come forth, come forth. Please, go ahead and introduce yourselves, please. And he looks to a Cavrian first. You there. You look like you have fine, exquisite armor.
Ooh, I do like her outfit.
Go on, don't be shy.
Thank you. The name's Gavrian, and yeah, I can. What seems to be the trouble over here?
Well,
I
I'm
have a-
hiring. Have you ever heard of Plimsdelve? To the northeast, on the eastern side of the Good Hills.
Maybe. I've ventured in the Good Hills once or twice.
What about you, friend gnome? And he points at Barnabas. He's like, are you interested as well? You seem to be some sort of wizard? I can't really tell.
I'm smoking the pipe that you see in the picture,
It's quite an exquisite pipe.
except
That's
out of
a
it,
pipe.
like the smoke comes out as like little dragons and just fly around and then disappear into the air.
Ooh.
But yes, I was curious. What's the problem? What seems to be the issue? My name's Barnabas.
Well, yes. I don't know if you heard my speech before, but
About
Plimsdelve
5 times.
Oh, if that being the case, one of our local heroes, a halfling by the name of Cassandra Smallbow, has become deathly ill, poisoned, and we're not sure of what's actually happening with her. It seems as if all magic to try to cure her of whatever ailment she seems to be suffering from has not been successful, to say the least. We could really use some help from some experienced adventurers. Some neutral third parties. We have some suspicion of who may be involved, but we're not entirely sure that they really have anything to do with it. I could explain further if you wish, but perhaps does any of this seem interesting at all to any of you?
I'll shrug. Yeah, I'm between things. Sure, why not? Got nothing else going on.
Well, of course.
And you, tall one? Looks like Gavrian, who seems to be the tallest in the group. What are you, like 5'3"?
5'5",
5'5".
and I guess I'm the tallest.
I'm like 5'3".
I'm a whole 2'8", thank you.
God, that's shorter than my son.
Wow.
That's so weird.
You little folk, you You seem like you need some help.
Yes,
Hey,
yes.
hey, we can take care of ourselves, all right? I mean, we'll use your help, but don't call us little folk. We got a union.
Yeah, yes, that's very true, Abelard. Thank you. Perhaps I should introduce Abelard here. Abelard, this is Gavrian, if I think I heard the name correctly, and Nova, and you, sir? Looks at the gnome.
Oh, yes, I'm Barnabas Pebbleshiner.
Ah, very good, very good. Well, I'm ready to leave. I'm sure you have some questions for me before we go. The journey to Plimsdelve is about 4 days, and I've arranged with Abelard here, and you guys did this in the morning. He says, I've arranged with Abelard here passage on a horse and wagon, so we can leave immediately once you're ready.
Sure, let's go.
But first, perhaps you should talk about payment. And he's you know that this is his amount to negotiate, Abelard. He says, I can offer you a non-negotiable reward of 150 gold to each adventure that comes to the aid of Ragnar Ravenrock, regardless of whether or not you succeed, provided at the conclusion of the investigation, of course. Is this agreeable to all of you?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I'm sure I can get a nice dress for that amount.
Very good. And you're all ready to go and leave right away?
Indeed I am. Stuffing all of the stuff I just bought earlier into my pack.
Let me just get my horse.
Yeah, I check to make sure I have my bag, and yep, I'm good.
Oh, excellent. You have your own horse. Even better. All right. Why don't you go ahead and meet me at the eastern gate, and we'll get ready and leave right away. And in the meantime, if you think of any questions that you wish to ask me, feel free to ask away.
That's fine with me.
All right. So you guys follow Bransby and Abelard to basically like a stable house that exists near the eastern gate, on the eastern border of Krylor. And you wait for Gavrian to arrive. What do they see? You have a very distinctive looking horse, right?
Oh, yes, it's the white stallion named Finfilas.
Oh, what a magnificent breed! Meanwhile, the horses that you have pulling your covered wagon is two gray, old-looking horses that don't look like that definitely look like they've seen better days. But you guys gather your belongings and start making your way outside of the eastern gate, clopping along along the road and beginning your journey to Plimsdelve. So at this point, I want to give you guys the opportunity to ask any questions you like. In case I don't know if you heard the whole spiel that I gave before, but this is your opportunity to, try to get some information out of Bransby, or just in general talk or role play, whatever you like.
Well,
What are we up against here?
I don't really know, to be honest. To tell you the truth, there was negotiations that were happening. You see, Cassandra's a local hero of ours, and she's friends with a dwarf by the name of Ragnar Ravenrock, who happens to own a mine within the city. Well, Ragnar, let's just say that he's a recent convert. Have you heard of the nation of Ravenar to the north of Kjolin?
I've heard briefly of it.
He says, Ragnar was once, from what I understand, the follower of Moradin, but has recently converted to the light of Lydia. He says, and, since that time, he has many riches to share due to his ownership of the mine, and, we're in dire need of food and livestock, and due to his recent conversion, he has offered a trade with the nation. his gold and ore in exchange for their food and livestock. He says, well, to negotiate and help negotiate this trade, the Good Hills Union has gotten involved. They didn't fear that it was a very fair deal, to say the least. And well, on the morning of the negotiations themselves, it seems that Cassandra had fallen quite ill suddenly and unexpectedly, and we suspect her to have been poisoned. We're not really sure who did it. But I do know that they've taken the Good Hill Union members under house arrest. You see, they have their own building within Plymsdelve that they occasionally rent out and stay at when they are visiting. And we've set up some guards outside the building and kept them there for adventurers to arrive and question them to find out if they were responsible, and if not, to investigate what truly happened to Cassandra. Did I do a good enough job explaining it? He looks at Abelard.
Seems mighty suspicious.
Yes, indeed. Of course it's suspicious. That's why we kind of need some neutral parties here to help us. We haven't been able to glean many information, and of course the Good Hills Union members all deny there was any wrongdoing on their behalf.
Have you spoken to any clerics or healers to see if they might be able to cure the disease?
Well, very good question. Plymsdelve is not known for having any people of that caliber within town, but we do have a local healer by the name of Elaine Hellheart. She's a local druid. She has tried her damnedest to protect, to find out what happened to Cassandra, but no luck so far. I hope that she's all right. All this happened about 4 days ago. 5, actually.
Traveling with me was so fun, just made the time fly by.
Well, let's stop for lunch, he says. So you guys stop along the road.
Now you're speaking my language.
You've got a big appetite, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Such a small frame.
Let me... Who you calling small?
Oh, sorry. You prefer the
I say as I
little
looking
folk.
up to him.
Now, Barnabas, Abelard is much too grumpy, but if you ever want to ride on my shoulder, you can do so whenever you want.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm big and strong. I can take care of you.
I appreciate that, I suppose.
Now let's eat some lunch.
Man, is this what adventuring parties... Is this what adventuring parties look like these days?
I don't have handle human. I don't know if I'll be able to stay hot.
Just grab by the horns.
A cute little tiara. I have a backpack.
There you go.
And I'm taking out
Waddle
like
me.
cookies
Waddle me.
and muffins and a bunch of other sugary treats, and I'm eating that for lunch.
Wow.
Nice.
I am proficient with cook's utensils. So I'll cook a nice hearty meal for anyone who wants it.
Sure.
Yeah,
All right.
sounds good.
Hardy.
Yeah, so you prepare a nice stew along the road.
Yeah.
Using some of the stuff that you bought in Plymsdelve. So
And it's like spiced with all the smoke from my pipe.
yeah, a lot of the
That kind
fruit
of tastes a little ashy.
A lot of the food you brought over from Plim's Delve actually was kind of stuff that they've had like uh, more or less all what they were able to salvage from this year's harvest. You know that the choices that you get were very, very limited.
Okay.
Most of the things you were able to get were like things that like are good for many months, like potatoes, squash, things like that. So you kind of put together a stew like that. And the reason why this stuff, none of this food is like immediately perishable is because Plim's Delve has been suffering from pretty much a bad harvest year. So this past, currently it's about, I would say November, or roughly the month of November, even though it's not really November. There is an actual Greyhawk calendar in the journal, if you guys care about that sort of stuff. So at the moment, you're in the month of Ready Read. Let me just confirm that.
Ready Read. Nice.
Yeah. So actually, the exact date is 15 Ready Read. Okay.
It's a ready read.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm ready to eat.
Me too.
All right.
Ready Read.
So, you guys want to ask anything else along the road?
So, besides decent arm wrestle, what can you do, little pink-haired girl?
I can shoot magic lasers.
I just look at Gavrian and Barnabas.
What are lasers?
I shrug.
I mean, I could show you. Do you want to see?
Yeah, I think something like that needs
I'd
a
like to see.
demonstration.
All right. Now I'm gonna like shoot up into the sky. It's kind of look like fireworks, but Bacon Kitty Nightmare Blast.
Oh, wow.
What?
Oh my!
Boom.
Oh, that's a thing.
Is there bacon falling out of the sky, Nico? Made out of kitties?
I look around for kitties.
Did you already pay her, Bransby? You might want to wait on that a little bit.
I'm just confused who has the name. I see
cares?
neither
It looks
kitties
cool.
nor bacon nor nightmares.
Well, I think I'm going to have some nightmares. Okay, well, that's something.
Most impressive.
All right.
Any other questions you have there for her?
No,
No, I think I've seen enough.
I can show you the really cool one.
I'm afraid. But
Oh,
go
that-
ahead.
And
I'm
Vanilla
intrigued.
Frosty Beam.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Nice, very nice.
Low power derived from sugar.
Seems so.
That's not even the last of them.
Oh, you have more.
Why don't you surprise us later, you know?
How
I think,
delightful. that you have
Okay,
more.
okay, I'll leave it as a surprise. Can't spoil it all.
All right.
like shaky-fingered pack another bowl in my pipe.
I offer you some of my tobacco.
Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you, sir. Whoa, that's a fancy pipe you got.
Yeah. This tobacco comes from the Hollow Highlands, my homeland.
Oh,
That's a far place from here, is it not?
Yes, I've been traveling around the realm, just looking and reading and searching for things.
So what is it exactly that you do, Barnabas?
Oh, this and that. I help people like you.
I see, I see. Are you some sort of wizard?
No, I gesture so you see I don't have any like spell book or component pouch. Nope, nothing like that.
Someone born with innate talent, then?
Yes, exactly.
Oh my, adventures are so exciting. He rubs his
All right, cool your jets, buddy.
I fear I don't have any bacon nor vanilla to shoot at people.
Oh,
We accept chocolate.
Perhaps you can give us a display of your special powers, then.
Ah, let us see.
And he waits patiently there, kind of like almost, bobbing in his seat.
Tell me what's going on in the area here. Within,
You're kind of just having lunch at the moment, so you're kind of.
I mean, geography-wise.
It's pretty plain. There's just rolling green, rocky hills. You don't see anybody on the road at the moment. It's a gray, overcast sky. The air is very cool. Like you were in December, so it's roughly about 40, 45 degrees. And aside from that, it's a pretty boring day. There is a raven actually on a rock, maybe about 60 feet away, just kind of cawing, like. Rah!
Okay. I will. Let's see. That's what I'll do.
Rah! Rah!
Have the raven make a wisdom save.
Oh, can you make things implode?
All right, I'm gonna say the raven fails.
Okay. It and I completely switch places. I'm on top of the rock, sitting down where it was, and it was standing where I was.
The raven kind of looks really surprised, and it flies off immediately. And you guys are like, "Whoa, that was pretty cool!" Because happened instantaneously.
whoa, what the?
I tried to grab the raven, but it flew away too fast.
Yeah, you weren't expecting it. So as soon as the raven was like, "Holy shit, what the fuck just happened?" It just flies away.
That was so awesome.
So Bransby is completely shocked by that, and me, he looks around and he starts clapping. He's like, "Oh my, most excellent! That's quite the display of power." He says,
Well,
"Quite useful, I can imagine."
I'll use the same power. I don't need to make a save because he's an ally on Bransby, so he's on the rock now, and I'm where he was. I agree, and I don't have to walk back.
Oh my, that feels quite strange. My nipples are tingling. That's supposed to happen.
I'll wave my hand. You'll get used to it.
Oh, this is quite awkward.
Bransby.
He scampers over back to the group. I'd rather not. Don't do that again, please. And he sits down on the rock and just grabs a piece of bread and starts chewing it.
Chuckling at him.
At some point when he's done with his bread, and he looks at Gavrian and he says, "So you look to be some sort of warrior mistress or something." He says, "What is it that you do, miss?"
Nothing as fancy as those two. More of just a warrior.
Just a warrior?
Are you a princess?
Well, I mean, must be something.
Nothing wrong with a warrior.
You look to carry a very large. What are you actually using? A glaive?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about your weapon, then. Does it have a name? All blades have a name, don't they?
Perhaps. Yes, this is called a glaive, and it's a sort of polearm for those not acquainted with polearms. It allows me to attack people at a distance.
Ah, yes, it looks quite large. He says, "What does this glaive mean? Is it have some sort of elven significance? Is it an elven word?" Obviously, he's never heard of a glaive before. You can get an impression.
No, it's not elven. It's
Sylvan then.
do you-
Is it Sylvan?
Can you cut the tree with it? Can you throw it at the tree? Can you throw it?
You think you could hit
I-
me?
I don't usually throw this weapon.
Take a swing. And I go and I stand and line up. I can take it.
Yes.
Oh my, that looks like it might hurt Abelard. You sure?
No, I can take it. Come on.
Oh, no,
Come
no.
on.
Grandpa can totally take it. Come on, Gramps.
Well, all right. I'll do it.
Don't feel bad. I'm small, but I'm strong.
All right.
It's true.
I'll give him a swipe.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wasn't ready for that one. Oh, you got me. All right. Oh, yeah. Right in the tummy. Oh, that's deep. Oh, yeah, that's deep. Okay.
Oh my! Are you all right?
Yeah. I really thought I had that. I've been out of practice. Oh.
Don't worry. I can
I
help you
enjoy
with
your defensive technique.
Oh.
It seems
all right,
most
I can take it.
efficient.
Yeah.
Oh,
Here, Grandpa. I can help
Not
you
as
with
fast
that.
as I once was.
that's all right, Gramps.
Have some
You're lucky I pulled that
kitten
punch.
Oh. What are these kisses? Oh.
What?
Little
Feels
kitten.
nice.
Little kittens are kissing you and you heal up.
Nice.
All right, not too bad. Thank you.
My pleasure, Grandpa.
When he sees the Abelard's wounds knit up, he looks like even more like wide-eyed. He's, oh my, you have the ability to heal as well. That's most excellent. I chose excellently. Oh, I'm so happy that you'll be coming along with us then, Nova. All of you, in fact.
No, you make me blush.
I hope all your skills will be very useful. He says, very good. Well, shall we continue on then? Assuming you have nothing else or to eat or questions to ask me.
Nope.
Oh,
Going to
should be good.
investigate some poisoning. Pretty straightforward.
All right. Let's go. So, like I said, these roads, they're pretty well protected. You see patrols maybe about 2 or 3 times a day. Usually just the local populace or local militia that are monitoring the roads for bandits. They're usually mounted, and they bid you hello when they see that you're just traveling adventurers on your way to Plymsdale. So occasionally you get stopped for questions, but nothing too extraordinary. They don't search you, or they're not mean in any way. They are genuinely like nice policemen trying to just make sure that the roads are kept safe. So 4 days, more or less, pass by uneventfully. The travel to Plymsdale is cloudy and rainy the entire time. Well, it's not raining the entire time, but occasionally there is rain. And you can see that it's clearly a mining town of some sort. From what you could tell, it is marked by homes that are built directly into the rocky hills. You see that there are harvest plots on the outskirts of town that are marked by yellow grass and withered crops that look pitiful, to say the least. You see very few livestock, and those that you do see don't look healthy at all. Bransby announces your arrival when you get there to a pair of town guards. And you're quickly escorted to the town hall, which you see is a squat 2-story building that doubles as the home of first speaker Cecil Shiningbeard. So just give me a second. I'm going to change the music here.
Mm-hmm.
And put you guys in Plymsdale.
I'm totally waving to every single person I pass by.
Yeah, you get a lot of back. The townspeople here, they definitely do seem not super friendly. Maybe hardworking people, but all demi-humans. You see very few actual humans. Let's move over. Yeah,
Nope.
there you go. I think you guys should be able to control your characters, by the way.
Yep.
All right, good.
I'm gonna go in the corner over here.
All right, guys.
Too much sugar. Nova, keep it under wraps. You're not even in the screen.
I'm hiding.
God, that girl moves a lot.
So you're basically you're in first speaker Cecil Shiningbeard's study. Basically his like common room, his foyer, if you will, where you're introduced to him. You're introduced also to a rock gnome, a woman with spectacles, who says her name is Cobra Willabark. I'll show you what she looks like.
I too am a rock gnome.
Okay,
You guys
she's
make out?
a little bit older in her years, but definitely not as old as you are. She's very mousy in appearance and wears some spectacles, as you see in the picture. She kind of talks like this, like she's from Minnesota.
Oh, I bet.
And she says, "Oh, hello. My name's Cobra Willabark. Nice to meet you, all of you."
Don't
And
you know?
and then there's also with them a third guy who's very, very dour looking. You notice that his eyes, are red rimmed. He looks very tired, and he doesn't even introduce himself. You see that there's a nasty scar across his left eye, and Bransby introduces him as Ragnar Ravenrock. So all three of them are there, and you're like I said, you're sitting on in Cecil's common room, and he says, "Oh, welcome to all of you. Thank you very much for coming here. We very much appreciate that that Bransby's done an excellent job, and Abelard as well. We're very grateful that you've decided to come to Plymsdelf to help us with this whole Cassandra and Good Hills Union situation. I'm sure that that Bransby has brought you up to speed. If you have any questions, or if you'd like to see Cassandra Smallborough right away, I can lead you up there. But please, in the meantime, I'm sure that the road has been long for all of you. So, Cobra, if you will, offer these fine ladies and gentlemen some biscuits and tea and cookies." And she says, "Oh, right away, first speaker." And she goes over to a tray. She hands out a tray. She carries a tray and hands you guys, plates of cookies and some fresh baked biscuits, and pours you guys some tea as well.
I grab a bunch of cookies and biscuits.
I thank her.
Yeah, it's like way too much food for all of you guys, but sure. You grab like handfuls of stuff, and you're like,
Fine.
You have any ale?
"Oh, of course, if you wish some ale, Abelard. It's a little early in the day, though, isn't it?"
Never.
He just looks at you for a moment. He says, "Cobra, if you will, some ale for the halfling here." And she says, "All right, away."
Thank you. Thank you.
And she goes over. She says, "From our very own tap house. I'm sure you're very familiar with Grimm's brew." And she gives you
Indeed.
some of Grimm's ale.
Not bad.
He says, "Well, when you're ready," Cecil says. He says, "Let's walk upstairs and I'll introduce you to Elaine, our local druid who's been tending to Cassandra."
if you don't mind, I know about you, and I point to Ragnar, and I know about you, and I point to Cecil. But, my lady, I haven't been introduced to you.
You're looking at Cobra at the moment?
To Cobra, yeah.
Oh, she
Your
says,
role
"Well,
around here.
I'm Councilwoman Colbert." She says, "I help out the first speaker here with all of his everyday needs. Anything that he needs to get done. I'm kind of like the
Secretary.
first speaker's secretary. Yes, just like that. Don't you know?"
You talk pretty funny.
No, I don't. I
No, it's
didn't grow up in the good hills, but I come from the north here, where it gets mighty cold.
It's a good thing. It was a compliment.
She looks
I'm
at
not
you.
good at compliments.
Are you flirting with me, sir?
You tell me.
Oh, you're a little old for me. Not to mention we're different breeds, But maybe if it was in my younger, to take me out, Abelard, sir.
All right, let's go upstairs.
Oh, that's a proposition right there.
I'll pat my hand on Abelard's shoulder. Leave the children alone, will you?
Oh,
Oh, an
just called
gentleman.
you.
What did you call yourself? She says to Barnabas.
Pleasure to meet you. I'll do a little gnome bow, whatever the hell they do.
I think they honk each other's noses.
Pointy hats. I don't know.
Oh my god.
She bows in kind. She says, "Oh, you remind me of my grandpappy. You look even older than Abelard here."
Yeah, probably. I'll smile at her.
So he says, all right, enough of this business. Come on, let's go upstairs and take a look at Cassandra. And then we can come back here and we can discuss what the next steps are, all right?" And so Cecil kind of wobbles over to the stairs, and him in his pretty massive frame, slowly goes up the steps, each step creaking under his girth. And what you find when you enter the room is Cassandra Smallbarrel lies on a bed on the second floor. Were she healthy, she'd be beautiful, with blonde hair and flawless skin. However, at the moment, she's unconscious. She's pale and sweating. Her skin is lined with thick, throbbing black veins. Bransby is distraught upon seeing her and comments. He says, "Oh my, she looks much worse than when we left." And he mentions this to Abelard. You see the room smells strongly of peat and spicy herbs, and there's an open window that keeps the air cool and circulating. You also notice on the wall there's a map of Plimsdelve across from Cassandra's bed. It shows the entirety of the mining town, and there are multiple references, from what you could see, to many entrances to old Plimsdelve underneath the surface town. Also in the room is a solemn but attractive dwarf, dressed in druidic clothing. Elaine Hellheart is surrounded by healing herbs and countless jars and mortars of unguents and powders. An alchemy set bubbles away atop a nearby dresser. So just to reiterate, this is what Elaine Hellheart looks like.
Is she showing so much midriff right now?
Yeah, she totally is.
Okay. Just wondering.
And then Cassandra looks like that. Although, as I described, she appears much more sick than her picture lets on.
Mm-hmm.
So Elaine says, in a very solemn voice, she says, "It's a pleasure to meet all of you." She says, "Who do I make the acquaintance of?" And she looks first at Barnabas.
Nope. I'll bow and say, Barnabas, Pebbleshiner.
Pebbleshiner, I didn't hear that one before.
Are you laughing at my clan?
No, I love the name. No offense. I'm sorry. It's been a while. I don't travel much anymore, and I just love The world's a crazy place.
She looks at Barnabas and she gives a nod. She says, "Well met." And you, to the two women.
I'm Nova Dragonfly, and I'll give a deep bow.
And then her eyes go to Gabriel.
I am Gabrielle. Give a curtsy.
She says, "Well met to all of you. My name is. I'm sure you have some questions for me. Unfortunately, as Bransby had noted, you can see that she has gotten worse in her condition. I've tried my best to use my magics to try to heal whatever ailment may be afflicting her, but I've been unable to find anything. It seems as if what we suspected could be a poison is not actually a poison. We're not unsure of what it could be. I've tried magics that remove disease and magics that remove poison, but haven't been able to find anything that works. I've even tried magics that can be dispelled, or if I could remove a curse, I'd try that, but I can't. I don't have that ability.
Have you
do that.
detected magic yet?
She says, I have. And from what I can tell, the magic itself seems to be necrotic in nature. But I'm very interested to see if you can remove a curse, Lady Nova.
All right. Let's see what I can do.
I'm afraid
Rub
of
my
what it's
hands
named.
together.
Some kind of
She takes a
bunny
step back.
unicorn.
Something pancake.
This will be the shortest adventure I've ever had.
She makes an adjustment on a Bunsen burner nearby, one of those little burners under the alchemy set she seems to be tending. And she just takes a step back and allows you, Nova, to check or to do what you want to do.
All right. Hold on, I didn't name it yet. I was gonna name it.
Oh, you gotta name it.
I didn't name everything.
What?
Unfortunately,
What?
I named all the attack spells. Okay.
That's okay. That's fair.
Okay. Uncrucify.
Nice.
Let's see what that does.
Nice.
So, a bright white light envelops your hand as you try to uncrucify.
Kind of do it like a defibrillator, like.
Yeah, like clear. And you see her body kind of like shudder, and the magic quickly envelops her, and then you hear like almost sounds. It almost sounds like something solid hitting like a pane of glass. And you don't get the impression that the uncrucify worked.
Yep, that didn't work.
Because you don't see, in fact, you don't see any change in her appearance. You don't see the black veins go away. Her appearance is still pale and sweaty. Nothing's different. At first, Cecil kind of looks confused, and he says, "Oh, well, did any change?" And then Elaine says, "No, I don't think so for a speaker."
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. But we'll find out whatever's causing this, and we're gonna fix it.
All right. Well, don't you know, I think we should go back down now and let Elaine do her work, unless you have some questions for her. Elaine says, well, actually, before you go, I've been doing a little bit more research, and I think that I may have something that I'd like to try. If these adventures would be so bold as to perhaps acquire it for me. And everybody kind of turns their attention to Elaine. And she says, well, now that I seem to have attention, there is something that I think may be able to help from Ragnar's mind itself. And Ragnar, who's in the very back and has not said a word throughout all of this, he says, and what would that be? And she says, I like these adventures here to acquire the Varcanarel. You know, that mushroom that grows in your grotto? And he says, that mushroom's behind the clockwork door. He says, and the mine's not fit for entering since the earthquake. And she says, yes, that's true, but I think that... See? She says. Oh, no. Fine. If that's be the case, I can open the doors and let these adventurers into the mine. He says, but you're going to have to look for our foreman then. Him and the other miners that have gone missing since the earthquake happened. And Bransby looks really confused and he says, earthquake? What earthquake? He says, oh, it happened about 5 days ago. He
So
says,
you
there was an earthquake in the mine 5 days ago? And he says, aye, it was. Bad news. He says, and since that time, the miners that were down there haven't been able to come back up. At Belfast, our foreman's gone missing. Yes, this has all been very bad. You've missed quite a lot, Bransby. In your time, we're looking for these adventurers. Many things have happened since you've been gone. Well, as you can see, Cassandra has gotten worse, and we've had to deal with the mines and the earthquake.
So
these things have not been good.
you locked in missing people? Is that accurate?
No.
You said you have to unlock the door that you locked after they went missing.
Yeah.
He says, there's a door that leads down into the mine through a shaft about 100 feet down. He says, I locked the door so that way nothing can get in or out. You see, these mines used to be... they used to have direct tunnels to the Underdark. We've tried to go down there and save as we could, but we were unable to find them. And I only made the decision to lock it just this morning. I don't want anything coming back up. Since I knew you were to arrive today, I decided to come here and meet you.
I see.
He says, but normally I've been keeping watch outside the mine itself.
Now, before we go risk our hides for
Some shrooms.
some shrooms, let me just ask you, Elaine, I know that you're of the earth type. These shrooms are to heal her, right? They're not just like for you to trip out and have fun. I mean, I'm not knocking
Elaine
you.
stifles a chuckle. She says, no, of course. The Varcanarel is known for its healing properties. In fact, we use it in some ways throughout town. She says, if you've ever been to the Two Cuts Tap House, in fact, they brew some of their own unique ales with it. She says, but it is rare. We're only able to collect some of it once every year or so. We know it grows in a very specific spot within Raven Rock Mine. As Ragnar had mentioned, there's a door down there called the Clockwork Door, built by Belfast Bricken, the mine foreman himself. She says, I think I can use the Varcanarel's medicinal properties to fashion a proper cure, but it does take time, and obviously we'll need to collect it. She says, I'm unsure of what could be down there since the earthquake happened. And truthfully, we haven't been able to find out. Mainly because I've been watching and making sure that Cassandra's condition doesn't get much worse than it already is. And Ragnar here has been distraught. So.
Well, can I ask you a follow-up question?
Be my guest.
Do you know where I could get some of those trippy mushrooms?
She says, we don't collect them often. She says, they take time to mature and to grow to a suitable size. In fact, what I'd like you to acquire is the largest one you can find within the grotto itself. She says,
Okay, I see. We'll talk about the trippy stuff later then. No problem. All right, back to business. Okay.
Oh. She
Council
now
guys
understands
here,
what you're thinking. She says,
right.
she just
Later,
hammers over her words.
I get it. Yeah, later. Not the time. I get it. All right.
Well, I must insist, though, that you act quickly. She says, I don't think that Cassandra will last much longer. Her condition is quickly spreading. And I give her at most maybe another day. Everybody just looks at each other like really, really like unnerved by that. Especially Bransby, who kind of you hear sob a little bit.
Okay. Give us direction and a description. We will get it for you.
Cecil says, yeah, there's also the matter of these Good Hills Union members, you know. I think that they may still have something to do with it. I hope sincerely that that's not the case.
Yeah, me too.
My son is like running back and forth. Anyway, so of course, if you don't, if you don't have the time and you want to get acting right away on the Good Hills, on the Raven Rock mine, you're more than welcome to not have to question the Good Hills members. But maybe this might be a little bit helpful to you. And she says, I have some stuff. First, she pulls out a scroll. And she says, since I'm the councilwoman and the first speaker's assistant, I did take a transcription of the meeting. And I have an accurate record of exactly what was said. It's not much, but I hope it does help. And she...
are you taking notes now? Because I was totally joking about those trippy mushrooms.
She says, oh, noted, Abelard. I won't say anything in my notes about your trippy mushrooms. She says, but you can always stop by my place later. We have other things we can do.
Oh, wow. All right.
Cecil just looks like,
let's get a move on.
Councilwoman Colbert. A little civility, please. I'm only joking, first speaker. And she gives Abelard like I said, a rolled up scroll of paper. And when you pull it out, or actually when you unfurl it, you see that it's as she described, a transcript of the actual Good Hills Union meeting. And it is dated 5 days ago. 5 days? 10 days ago.
I'm towering behind Abelard reading it.
Yeah. So that's what you
Now,
guys
when he says fine brew, that is, I assume you were serving Abel's ale at this gathering?
Well, no, Abel's ale is not it's not being served yet. You're in the contract negotiations, right? So they haven't. Two Cuts Tap House has not agreed.
Okay, all right. Okay. I see.
That's why you're doing this.
Yeah. Okay.
What was I gonna say? Oh, yes. And here else, I have something else for you. Since you've all agreed to help, and I assume you are agreeing to help. That is. And everybody kind of looks at you expectantly for a moment. Oh yes, if the time to back out is now, then you should say that you don't want. And good day to you, if that's the case. But if not, Councilwoman Colbert here has offered to give a little bit something extra.
Oh, we're definitely not backing out. We're definitely helping with this. There's a mystery, and we're gonna solve it.
I agree with the sugary one.
All right. So she pulls out what looks to be a gray pouch, hands it to Barnabas, and she says, now that's going to be some dusted disappearance.
Thanks.
And then she also pulls out one other thing from her purse satchel on her side. She says, and this here is a spell scroll of greater restoration, if you're familiar with such magics.
Not I. I look for anyone else to take it.
So you guys have both those items and the transcript in your possession now.
Nice.
Very good.
You should be at full HP, by the way, Abler.
Oh, I recovered from that cut.
It's been
Yeah,
more than a day.
that was 4 days ago.
I'm a slow healer.
Yeah.
I'm old.
Not a wounding weapon.
All right. It's a little stuffy in here, so let's go back downstairs. You're free to ask any questions, and you could decide what you want to do next. He says, please continue your good work, Elaine. And she nods, and she goes back to tending the alchemy set. So you guys head back downstairs, and you're in the sitting room once again. You're reserved some drinks. Ale is offered if you want it.
I drink tea.
Yeah, sure. Let's have some drinks and maybe look over this this transcript. See if we want to interview these clowns.
More tea and cookies.
Yes. It's an interesting transcript.
They talk a lot about their names.
Maybe we should question them before we go? I don't know if any of you are skilled at such things. You know, talking.
I mean, I
I
usually
can
just
be-
punch them.
I can be
help with that.
pretty persuasive.
I can scare them pretty good.
I can hit them.
Yeah.
I bet little sparkly hair there is probably pretty good at talking to folk.
Maybe a little bit, if I do say so myself. I don't know. I like to think so.
My niece tells me I'm not very friendly.
Nah.
Okay, well, should we go talk to him?
Yeah, they're
What do we want to ask him about specifically? Do we have specific questions?
well, I mean, they all drank the beer or whatever the beer is, so no one else got sick from it. So maybe the poison was put in a mug that was going to her, and everyone seems to think they did it. So maybe we can ascertain whether or not we think they're guilty. I don't know.
Yeah. Makes sense to me.
We could always just, make them wait and go see if we can get the cure first too.
Yeah.
Since we
Sure.
do have a day to do that.
You should probably get that
Yeah.
first before trying to question it.
Yeah, probably
Go
wiser.
get the cure and then question, then figure out who did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a good order
Let
of
them rot where
operations.
they are.
And if the cure doesn't work, then we can punch whoever we need to get a cure if they possibly have a cure. Because, when you make something that bad, you
Now-
always got to make an antidote.
Yep.
Only if
now
you're
you're
a
speaking my
supervillain.
language. My years of adventuring, people usually follow those narrative tropes, I'll tell you that much.
Shall we depart for the mines then?
Indeed.
Why
Yeah.
waste time?
Yeah.
All right.
do it.
So that's
To
the
the
plan.
mines.
You guys are going to the mines first.
Yeah.
Mines.
All right. I'm gonna set up a couple things here. Why don't we take a quick 5-minute break so I can get some water, and I
Sounds
will
good.
put you guys onto the new map. Okay.
Okay, great.
All right.
I really did wish I had cookies, but I don't.
I know, all this talk of sweets. You gotta contain yourself, Susan.
No! I'm in my pajamas. I do
Aren't
it
you
once.
like drinking like a bowl of heavy cream anyway? Just like whip it up.
That's what I was gonna do.
Yeah. Some eggs and flour and shit in there.
Just make yourself like a little cake.
Oh, you're right. I do have little like microwave mug packets. I remember now.
Oh my god.
I have them in here. You have such great ideas all the time. Let's see, what do we got? We got caramel brownie, blueberry muffin. I'm not really much of a caramel person.
Yes.
And
Please narrate us through your selection of snack.
blueberry sounds pretty good. Just gonna get a big old mug.
Dude, monks are crazy. I have so many abilities I'm trying to keep track of here.
I'll help you out. I played I play a monk
I'm
living Greyhawk, so
yeah.
Every single level is a special ability.
Yeah. It's cool. I like it. I'm excited. It's I realized though I definitely should have dodged when I asked you to hit me.
I know,
That was
I thought
pretty
that's
stupid.
what you were gonna do.
Yeah, I thought.
I realized like right after he hit me, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I can just dodge.
you don't even need to spend a key point. You just
Yeah, that's just anyone can do that. Anybody could have done that.
I'm like, he's gonna like drunkenly display his cool dodging moves, but it didn't.
It's all right. I haven't adventured in a while. I needed that to knock me into shape. Now I'm woke back up.
I'm woke. Now you're woke.
Well,
We got 3 tablespoons of milk.
So in the group, who's got dark vision?
I do.
Uh,
60.
I do.
I have something better than dark vision.
What do you got?
I
got
have
the night
it's like an Eldritch invocation where I can see normally and even magical darkness for up to 120 feet.
Oh my god.
Devil's
And I do
Sight.
not have dark vision.
Or Rainbow Unicorn Sight, or whatever you're calling it.
Yeah, I don't remember the name. I also don't need to sleep at all,
Ever?
ever. I do
I
not
too
require
can see through
sleep.
magical darkness.
Oh, you can do that too? What's your range?
For the magical darkness is 30 feet.
30 feet? But otherwise your dark vision is 60?
Yeah.
Okay. But Gavrian, you can't, right? And neither can Abelard.
No, I can see 60 feet. Dark vision. That's my belt.
I do also have regular dark vision though.
Where do you get that from, the 60 feet?
The belt of dwarven kind.
Oh, there you go, there you go.
Makes me
Yeah,
dwarven.
Abelard cannot see in the dark, but he ain't scared.
He should be.
Yeah. All right. So you guys all ready? Is everybody back?
Yes.
I can hear everything. So.
Okay, good. Oh, you're making your microwave cake? I can give you some more.
All
if you
right.
need it.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
Just cast invisibility. She's right there.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So let's see here. All right. So you go with Ragnar. You leave Cecil Shinebeard's house. You walk through the relatively quiet streets of Plimsdale, which appears more or less like you see it on the map. There's a lot of the stonework buildings are carved directly into the actual mountains and rocky hills themselves, just like what you see. And there's occasional people doing business. There's some shops here. But more or less, people are staying indoors due to the relatively cool, rainy weather. And you get to the main entrance of Raven Rock, and what you can see is an antechamber carved out of the side of a tall pillar of red stone near the center of town of Plimsdale. It appears to be a small office. You see a writing desk and a stool, And the dominant feature of the room, however, is the door that leads to an elevator shaft that descends deeper into the mine. You see an iron door where nearby a barrel holds supplies necessary for the descent. You see a knotted rope, looks to be about 100 or so feet long, a barrel of unlit torches, some flint and tinder, and a grappling hook. Ragnar takes out a heavy iron key, goes up to the door, and unlocks it. And he says, "This shaft down below is 100 feet deep." He says, "And since the earthquake has crumbled quite a bit, we used to have a cage that would be able to be lowered and raised. But since the earthquake, the cage has crashed to the bottom and been entirely destroyed." He says, "It's quite dark down there." He says, "I'll give you a fair warning. We have what we call a warden. He's going to be in our stock room, where we keep the supplies." He says, "The warden is on patrol there, and he only obeys me and Belfast." He says, "As long as you stay out of the warden's way, things should be fine. I'd go down there with you myself, but it's time. I need to stay up here and make sure that nothing comes out after you. God forbid we get lost and you don't come back up, then who's going to let Elaine know that you failed? So I think I'll wait here, if you don't mind."
That's fair.
You got any good stuff in that stock room?
"We do, actually. If you see any of the dwarven shaft breakers, says, make sure to grab them. They're used for collapsing any tunnels. So if you see anything open to the Underdark or any other deep dark holes that look like they shouldn't be there, if you can do me a favor and use the dwarven shaft breakers to collapse them, that'd be much appreciated."
Yeah, we can do that.
He says, "You might be able to avoid the warden with some clever stealth, but be careful you don't get into a fight with him." He says, "Belfast himself built the warden to be tough and strong. You know what a golem is?"
Of course.
He says, "Well, this one's made of stone, so it's quite tough."
Don't fight a stone golem. Got it. I'm writing down notes in my little
He
notebook.
says, "For the most part, the Raven Rock mine is pretty dark, except for the mine lobby, which is going to be the first door you'll see when you come out of the elevator shaft." He says, "You, Abelard, might have some difficulty navigating around, so I suggest you bring a light."
Yep. I got a torch.
"That'll do."
If you just got a stick, I can put some light on it.
I got a torch.
Well, a torch is a stick, isn't it?
Suppose.
I can make the whole stick light up.
All right, enough of talking. He takes the rope. He secures it to the outside, kind of like where there's a sconce. He secures it to the outside, and then, makes it taut with a grappling hook. And then he takes the knotted rope and he throws it down the elevator shaft. Looking down the elevator shaft, with your 120-foot dark vision, Nova, you can see the very bottom of it. And from what you could tell, there is a cage, apparently made out of iron, that looks like it's in complete disarray. It's very, very badly damaged and partially covered in rubble. You see at the top of the cage actually has a square hole, maybe about 3 feet wide on each side, that looks like you can enter the cage from up above. So at this point, well, you don't see anything aside from the rubble and empty cage. But the rope itself is kind of like just It was long enough to actually hit the top of the cage. So at this point, you guys are free to descend as you wish.
Come on,
So who's
guys.
first in the order? Who's going down first?
I probably totally
Oh,
happily slid down super fast.
No.
whoa, whoa.
Not on knots, you did.
Oh.
Ow.
I didn't know it was not.
So, since you're going first, why don't you go ahead and make me a strength athletics check? Yeah, that's fine. And are you guys waiting for her to get to the bottom, or are you like going a few feet after her?
So I have a thing where I can spend a bonus action to get a psychic focus. I'm gonna do that on give myself advantage on strength checks before I try to climb.
Yeah, all right. But to answer my question though, are you guys gonna wait till she gets to the bottom, or is something going?
Oh, wait.
I was gonna wait.
Make sure
Okay.
she's not eaten by something. Don't want
All
to
right, so
go into a
the
mouth.
first thing you notice when you get to the bottom after you climb through the cage's ruptured ceiling, Nova, is that the door to the cage itself is open. The cage is roughly about 15 feet by 10 feet. But like I said, it's completely damaged and kind of crumpled in some places, like it literally fell and broke. But you do notice that at the far end of a very short hallway is a closed door that is partially buckled within its frame, as if the very stone presses in on all sides of it.
Would that be the clockwork door?
You don't think so? It doesn't look clockwork at all.
Can you guys see if she made it down? I can't see that far.
You make it down.
Yeah, I'm kind of like jumping on top of the cage.
I'll start going down next.
Okay, so you can go ahead and make me your strength athletics roll. All right, you're good. So it takes you a little bit of a while. You are fortunate to have that ability, so you get down no problem. And you see much the same thing as I described to Nova.
Okay. And once I'm done, I'll switch it to something else, which I'll let you know. But go ahead.
All right, who's going next?
I'll go next.
All right. So you're kind of doing this in the dark because you don't have any light at the moment, unless she cast the light spell on your torch before she went down.
No, I think I go in the dark.
Can
and
I cast
then
the
when
light
I get
spell
down there.
on the rope?
Yeah, actually, that would be fine. And what's it, a 40-foot radius?
Oh,
Yeah, don't worry. A 9 is still enough to succeed, Abelard, because it's knotted and it's against the wall. So, and you have a light at the very bottom, so you can kind of see what you're doing. Okay, I got your message, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it does look like 40 feet. All right, so you're able to get down to the bottom, no problem. And then, Gavrian, what's your minimum athletics roll? Probably much higher than a 5, right?
40.
I have 7, 8. 8 is my minimum roll.
Yeah, you're fine. You don't need to roll then. So you get back down to the bottom, no problem. I'm gonna move you guys to a different map now.
I'd like to light up a torch when I get down there.
Okay.
These are all going in the wrong order.
Pish posh.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, I agree.
So-
Maybe she should be up front. She's got a nice bit of.
Anybody else have
A nice
half plate on?
what, Abelard? A nice what?
Half
Weapon,
plate.
weapon, and armor. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Good save.
Yeah.
So I gave you a torch or a light spell that pretty much both provide you the same amount of light, Abelard. So everybody can see, right? You should be able to see kind of a T-shaped room, unless you're like kind of in the corner of that room. But essentially, we're using dynamic lighting here, so just keep that in mind.
Mhm.
So what your character can see on the map is what you can see. Well, what your character can see. So just keep that in mind. All right.
Whoa.
Okay.
Great. Okay.
So I assume that the way I set you guys up is the way you want to be, with Cavalry in the lead.
Yep,
Yes.
that works.
I didn't mention
Okay.
it before, so I activate my armor spell.
All right. So you're going to cast armor on yourself. So you got that. And as I described before, you see a heavy iron door at the end of what looks to be a short tunnel to the east. It appears to be sealed shut, and it's partially buckled within its frame, as if like the cracked stone all around is pressing on it from all sides. Another thing you notice here also is that there are numerous cracks in the walls of the tunnel directly to Gavrian's east. You can see that there appear to be what look to be mushrooms and other fungi growing out of the cracks.
Mushrooms.
Hey, we did it.
I don't think this is the right mushroom. Let's see.
I don't know.
Did they say what it looked like?
You guys didn't ask.
Well, then I'm collecting every single of the biggest type of mushroom that I find.
Well,
But you do know she did tell you that the
It was
mushroom
specifically
exists behind
the clockwork door.
behind the clockwork door in the mushroom grotto.
I was going to say,
Well, maybe-
can I use nature to acknowledge that these are not the right ones for them then?
You've never heard of the mushroom that Elaine talked about?
Mhm.
But you can tell using your knowledge nature that these mushroom varieties are all different. And I assume you're trained in nature, right? You're
Yep.
proficient in it? Yeah. So it's unusual to see mushrooms growing out of the bare rock, but you can tell that there's a significant amount of moisture down here.
I see.
Do you think, maybe I should just eat a couple and see what happens?
Yeah.
No.
That's usually a bad idea.
I stick with no on that one.
Do
Us
it.
halflings are pretty tough. I think I can handle it.
Sure, go right ahead.
If anything
Yeah,
bad
that's a no
happens,
for you.
I can help out.
All right, I'm gonna grab a random mushroom and take a bite.
So these mushrooms kind of grow in discs. They don't look like mushrooms that would grow out of like loose dirt or out of dirt in a forest.
Mhm.
They kind of grow like discs, out of the side of a tree. If you ever seen those types of mushrooms.
Mhm.
So except that rather than the side of a tree, these are cracks in the actual stonework. So when you grab it, first thing you notice is that they're like really slick and spongy.
Ew, cool.
And when you kind of like try to pull it off, it does come apart, but it's kind of like holding a portobello or like a shiitake.
Mm.
It's spongy and kind of almost a little bit slimy as well.
Mhm.
And when you put it close to your mouth, it's really, really pungent smelling. You get second thoughts about eating it.
Ugh.
Eat
You've
it,
already committed to
Grandpa.
this cause.
Just take a little nibble.
Take a little nibble. It's really, really bitter and
Oh,
tastes
yeah.
really, really bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you make me a Constitution saving throw?
Okay.
There it is.
I do have, if it's poison,
You get advantage
because
on it.
because I'm a halfling, I have advantage.
Mhm.
Yep. So go for it, because
Okay.
you're a stout half.
Okay.
Is that why you're going to eat everything we find?
Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. So you nibble on it, and you immediately spit it out because it does not taste good at all, and you don't want to swallow it.
Ugh.
But fortunately for you, you're pretty sure that you didn't swallow any of it.
Yeah. Okay.
It just tastes too bad, and you don't think it's edible at all.
Yeah, I don't think this is what we're looking for. Next time, I'll try the next one.
Okay, I'll keep a lookout for him.
Yeah, let me know.
All right. So as I said, there's a heavy closed. It looks like a jammed iron door in front of Gavrian.
let's try and open it up.
Okay. So you kind of, I assume that you're going to try to force it open with some brute force here. Maybe slam your shoulder into it, or are you trying to open it in a different?
Kick it open.
Kick it open.
Okay. So you raise up a booted foot to try to kick it open. Make me a strength ability check.
Strength.
Okay. So that's pretty good. You hear it. Like you definitely budged the door. It doesn't swing entirely open, but you give it a very, very solid kick, almost even denting it slightly. But it does not open.
How heavy does the door look, weight-wise?
Oh, that's a very good question. Are you skilled in any relevant?
Every knowledge.
You have every knowledge.
And a 20 intellect.
Okay,
You tell me what I know.
You can make me an intelligence with proficiency. So I think that for you would be a +9, right? What's your intelligence?
I'll just roll my save then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so your best guess is anywhere between 100 to 500 pounds. You're not really sure. It's hard to tell because you can't tell how thick the door is. But if Gavrian was able to dent it, either she's extremely strong, or the door is maybe probably only a couple inches thick.
All right. I'm going to assume...
It may not even necessarily be solid metal.
I'm going to assume it's 250 pounds or less, and I'm going to use an ability called it's a move, and I basically can move the object 60 feet in any direction I want.
Okay. All right, that's good enough. So go ahead and spend your
okay
psi points for that. And Gabrian, you notice that the door starts to quiver and shake, and then pop open as Barnabas uses his mental power behind you to do so. So
Good
give me
thing
a
I
second
loosened
here.
it for you.
And I'll lay it down quietly. I can move it up to 60 feet and do with it what I will until the end turn. So I'll lay it down so it doesn't make huge noise or anything like that.
Oh, well, if that's the case, give me a
Much
second
better
here.
than my
Yeah.
If I see a creature when it's open, I'll drop it on the creature. So you let me know what we see.
Yep. So give me a second then.
Oh, this might be the warden that we're supposed to
Drop it on the wounded.
All right. All right, give me a second.
Always something.
I'm sure if we had both kicked it at the same time, we could have done it.
All right, don't move your characters.
I believe in you, yes. Oh.
So you see a sparse open lobby is open with folded stone benches for sitting in upright positions along the wall. A tunnel leads north and a staircase descends to the south. Littering the floor of the large room are nearly 24 discarded pickaxes. However, you're not alone. Turning toward you, a handful of dull-eyed miners, dirty and blood-spattered, appear. They look upon you with hungry eyes, their tongues hanging loosely out of their mouths.
I dropped the door on it.
You're not surprised, but you can move around the door on your turn when it's your action. So at this point, we are jumping into initiative.
And it's a Dex DC 10 for it to dodge the door.
Okay. All right. So give me a moment here. I just want to get everybody on the right map. Pull up the initiative order. So make sure if you're rolling initiative, you select your token first.
Mm-hmm.
And then put in some music.
Nova's distracted eating a cupcake or something.
I had
Sounds
muffin.
great.
So
Cookies
how's,
from
how's this
before.
order looking?
I'm still thinking in my head how cool it would be if we kicked the door
Yeah.
open.
All right, so we are in round 1 of initiative. Avalon, your quick thinking and reactions allow you to act first when you see. I think you can see goal number 2, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So just keep in mind,
Yes.
moving through an ally, however, is difficult terrain.
Although I have my halfling nimbleness.
Yeah, I think that allows you to move through enemies, but it doesn't change.
Any creature of a size that's larger than yours.
Sorry, buddy.
So,
Isn't all of you
Damn.
small?
Barnabas. So it's just difficult terrain to go through Barnabas.
No, I think that ability, because this came up this past weekend with some friends of mine. So it allows you to move through enemies, right?
Is there any creature that's larger
allies
than yours?
too. Yeah.
Without costing extra movement, though?
As long
Yeah.
as they're larger than me. So Barnabas would be extra. Or no, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. It's enemies. Because you're right. It doesn't say that it doesn't cost any movement.
Yeah, that was the point, that it still costs extra movement.
Okay,
But-
that's fine. So that'd be... Okay, so yeah, I'd only be able to move to the front of the line. Okay, but here's what I'm going to
Yeah,
do.
but you're a monk, so you can always...
Yeah, I'll spend a key point. All right, so
So, quick question for you: is the door, since that was a spell I used before this started, is the door floating above it? Because it's all one action, or did it
Wow.
fall on it, or
What happened to the door? It was on the map.
Dropped it on. Oh wait. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, did you move the door? I gave you control of it.
I don't see a door.
Oh,
I
no.
never saw a door.
All right, just give me a sec. I'll put the door back. I had a door on the map. Right thing selected there.
Ah,
All
the
right, just-
door.
nice.
yeah, I'll give you the ability to control it.
Okay, just curious. Thank you.
Yep. So just check to make sure you can move it, Kevin, and that's where the door actually currently is.
Oh, okay.
All right.
You can move
So
it,
how many-
right, Kevin?
Yeah, I can move it.
Okay. So yeah, I'll use a key point and a bonus action for Step of the Wind. So I can dash through my allies as I just kind of push Barnabas out of the way and then sneak through the other two into the room. And oh, there's 3 of them. Oh, shit. All right. And I'll just go up against ghoul number 2 there. Give him a nice pow and a whack.
Nice.
14, 21.
All right, so let's see here. Goal number 2. Let me pull up his. I'm totally not prepared here. Sorry about that.
No problem.
I actually didn't have this character sheet up. So, 14 is going to hit.
Nice. All right. So that's 2 hits then.
Yeah.
So total of 20 damage.
That's very good. So the ghoul,
Rolls.
you can tell me what happens as you slam.
Yeah, I just come and I kick him in the balls and then uppercut him as he like, kind of leans over slowly
Nice.
and knock the top of his head off.
No, he's not dead. He's not dead.
Oh, okay.
But you
Okay.
come close. You kind of knock him on the side of his head, and you hear his neck crack, and his neck just he turns it back into an upright position. And you can see that these guys are clearly dead. They're very badly wounded. You can see that they're demi-humans, so they're a mix of one's a dwarf, one's a halfling, one's a gnome. And on top of that, you can see that they're clearly dressed like miners. They're wearing rough, heavy overalls, but they're covered in wounds and dirt. So you see a lot of dried mud and blood on them.
Okay.
Are you finished with your
All right.
turn?
Yep, and yep. Oh, thank you.
All right, so Gavrian, you can go. The door doesn't block anything, but yeah. So you guys are free to move
Yeah, it's up in the air.
where.
Mm-mm.
There's 3 creatures in here. One to the right and left, aside from the one that's in front of us. Just telling the guys in the back, in case you can't. Let's see here. All right. Move to there and swing over Abelard's head with the scythe. Not the scythe.
The glaive.
The glaive.
He's changing
Whoa,
his form.
buddy.
It's so weird.
All right. So you're aiming for ghoul number 2. 24 AC is definitely going to hit. You can tell me what happens.
Oh, well, clearing Abelard's head, I take the head off of ghoul number 2. It goes
Nice.
rolling, and then I will direct my attack towards ghoul number 1 then for the rest of my assault. I think that'll miss. So 26 and a 10. For the next 2 attacks, I think only the first one hits. So 10 damage to that guy.
Yeah, 10's going to miss. So you swing it around, you cut off the first ghoul's head, then you turn to your left, right? That you were attacking ghoul number 1. And you stick it right into his clavicle. And as you're pulling it out, you try to stab him with it again, but he manages to dodge just to the side. You do 10 damage to his torso. So let me record that. All right, are you finished?
Yes. That was my move, bonus, and attack.
I'm gonna
Okay.
move through. I'm going to. Let's see. As my bonus, I guess I'll do the continuation of the ability I cast and drop it on this ghoul. It can make a DC 10 dex.
All right, DC 10 Dex. Oh, it is going to fail that. All right, so what happens?
24 damage.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
So I
you
drop
take
the
this-
door and slam it closed.
Yeah, you take this heavy iron door and you just push it mentally right into ghoul number 3, and it's totally surprised to see it, and it kind of puts up its hands to try to deflect the door off to the side and fails miserably as this heavy iron door like lands right on top of the ghoul and literally crushes it into the ground.
And then for my action, I'm going to use Command to Strike, and I'm going to have Gabrian. You can use your reaction immediately to take another attack action, so that's all your attacks against ghoul number 1. So you can do that. Go
Do
ahead.
what?
I'm,
I can attack?
I'm letting you use your reaction to do another full attack action.
Holy shit. What
And
about
that's-
these
Full attack
lists?
action. Okay, cool.
And it costs, it's just a reaction. But go ahead, it's all you.
This is from Mystic?
Yep. It's the command one where I dictate what people do. I can also move people.
Is this for free every turn?
No, that was my action, and it cost 3 points.
Oh, it does cost you 3 points to do this.
Mhm.
Okay.
Free would be ridiculous, yeah.
Yeah.
12 and then
Still
19.
three points for a full attack. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
12 and a 19. Those are actually both gonna hit. You guys make quick work of these ghouls. You can describe for me what happens.
All right. I bring it across the belly, cutting somewhat deep, and then across the belly again to chop its torso in half to complete the cut through.
Nice.
Kind of describe what it felt like, Gavrian, as I pointed at it and yelled attack, and you felt kind of obligated to do so.
Controlling.
As you wish, Valabar.
Where are you on the order, Nova? Oh, you're 3. I was like, why haven't you gone yet?
Just eating cupcakes back here.
They're really good cupcakes.
That's awesome.
All right. So Barnabas, are you finished with your turn?
Yeah.
All right. So. All right. So something interesting appears before you. You see a suddenly appears out of nowhere what looks to be a black-robed, kind of like squid-headed creature with multiple tentacles coming out of the bottom of its face. You see that its skin appears dry and cracked, though. It takes on this pallid gray appearance, and it's kind of like hunched over, and you see that its form is kind of like wavery and shimmery, and then suddenly you feel all of your minds like assaulted with this mental energy. So what I'm going to need from everybody, yeah. So this is, I'll just show you what you see. This is what kind of like what you see, minus the spell book.
Cute.
Well, you have a reaction or something, Kevin? I hear
No,
you
no,
saying,
no.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm texting you something.
All right. So I need everybody here to make me saving throw, please.
A what saving throw? It cut off.
Intelligence.
Intelligent.
Ooh.
High roll. Finally.
So Abelard's gonna fail. Susan, you're okay. Oh yeah.
I have advantage because I'm a gnome.
Good.
So your gnome allows you to get advantage. Can you read the ability exactly to me?
Yeah. Gnome cunning advantage on intellect, intelligence, wisdom, or charisma saves versus spells or spell effects.
Okay. So this is not neither one of those things.
Oh, okay. That's a shame.
Yes. So, unfortunately, the only person who succeeds here is Susan with the team. So yes, to answer your question though, Kevin, yes.
Okay.
From the whisper that you sent me, and then all of you guys are gonna take some damage here. Except for you, Nova, you won't take any of this damage.
Okay.
Everybody else is going to take 23 psychic, and you are all stunned for 1 minute.
Ouch.
Now you can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of your turns. Okay? But stunned is pretty bad. Stunned means you cannot take any actions, and you are considered incapacitated, I believe. All right. Yep. All right, so I am done.
Don't recharge.
I gotta put that recharge on a GM roll.
You mean recharge? Retag.
Oh, yeah,
Chag.
All right, so ghouls are all dead. I'm gonna remove that. So keep in mind, Nova, you didn't take any damage.
Mm-hmm.
It's all up to you. Some kind of cotton candy attack.
I'm gonna like jump up in front of everybody. It's like, all right, where are they at? Whoa, wait, you already killed everything. Whoa, why is everybody not doing anything? What is that guy?
Yeah. Another thing you notice about him, as you get a closer look at him, is that his body is wreathed in what looks to be like wispy blue flames.
Ooh. Well, let's give this one a try. You let go of my friends, and I'll do nuclear butterfly blast. Whenever. I think it's lagging, but I clicked it, and it's going to happen eventually. I think. Hold on, I don't know.
It's just so nuclear; it needs to build up.
So yeah, it's building up. Okay, now it does it. So,
There it is.
Sacred flame.
Sacred flame.
Ignore the 5. That's for if I have hex on it. But
Is it a strength saving throw? It's a dexterity save, right?
Yeah. I probably
Yeah.
just clicked the wrong thing on it, the spell. There's so many buttons to click on all the spells.
All right. So let's see here. Some of the stuff I currently have on.
And part of my what's it called? Hold on, let me click it. I can add my charisma modifier to a radiant damage roll. If he takes the damage, so.
Okay, so let me roll my dexterity save. Okay. All right. So he is actually going to succeed. You see that he nimbly dodges it.
Butterflies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Little bitch. Well. That's all I can do.
All right. So that is going to be another done. So you get another intelligence saving throw.
Okay. Abelard, you're talking to? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Am I cutting out for you guys?
A little bit.
Sometimes.
Just a teeny bit, not a lot. Oh, no good.
Ooh.
Oh. Nope.
Another
So
11.
yeah, that will continue to be a failure. So next person in the order is Gavrian. You find yourself like still there, kind of reeling. Your mind is totally befuddled. You find yourself unable to will your limbs to move. It's just a bad day for you, Abelard. First the mushrooms, now this.
So I can't do any actions, right? Can't move, can't speak. Yes. Can I take bonus actions? Can't take it.
Yeah, you pretty much you can't do anything when you're stunned. You get another saving throw at the end of your turn. That's it.
All right. Intelligence, eh? Ooh,
Nice.
yeah.
All right, so you do pop out of it. You didn't get to act this turn, but you find yourself willing your body to move, and your mind breaks the befuddlement that is currently plaguing you. All right, so Barnabas, it's your turn now.
All right, I'm gonna make the save. Maybe.
Nope. So 13 will not succeed.
Okay.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So I got Gabrian and Nova are still good here, right? So let's see. All right, give me a second. All right, you see him pull out what looks to be a dagger, and you notice that he makes some sort of like weird hand motion, as if he's casting a spell using the dagger as a material component.
What?
That's right.
Unacceptable.
And as he does so, you see him move with blinding speed within melee range of each of you guys, almost as if he's teleporting next to you, and then he teleports next to Barnabas, then he teleports next to Nova, then he teleports next to Gavrian, and then he gets back right to the space. He ends up back in the space right next to Abelard. And then give me a second here so I can make all my attack rolls. Because as he does, and he teleports next to you, you notice that he tries to stab you with his dagger. Yeah, so give me some. I apologize, it's taking so long. Just give me a second. I gotta make like a ton of rolls.
No
All right,
worries.
so all of these are gonna be versus your armor class. Okay, so first we're going to do an Abelard. Now, I believe that being stunned means you're incapacitated, right? And as you're
Yeah, I think so.
incapacitated,
He has advantage.
yeah, attack rolls have advantage. That's what I was checking on. And let me just check incapacitated here. Okay, yeah. All right, so I do get
This is
it.
going swimmingly.
Yeah, so first on Abelard, I got to roll twice here.
Miss.
All right, good.
Miss.
So it looks like both of these attacks miss you, which is very good. Next one is going to be on.
I'm very short.
Now, Gabriel, you got out of the stun, so this is only a single attack roll against you. So 21 hit you?
That's a good, yeah.
Okay. So you are going to take force damage.
Force damage.
Yep. And you're going to take 35.
What? From a dagger?
It's more like you hear the sound of. You ever like swish a sword through the air or something like really thin through the air? That's what it kind of sounds like, but really like ear-piercingly loud. And then you feel this like cut appear, across your body. You don't think it was caused by the dagger, but more by the spell that the guy cast. So next attack's on Nova, not with advantage, right? Because you're not stunned. And he rolls a natural 1. And then the last attack will be on Barnabas with advantage.
Both
Wow.
miss.
Very, very shitty rolls here. All right, and then like I said, he ends up in the space next to Abelard. And then... let me just roll my d20 here. And then you see him disappear.
Ah, shit.
Oh.
He seems to just fade from sight.
Tricky.
Where'd you go?
Little beast.
I saw it happen. Can I roll Arcana to see if I think he just went invisible or if he teleported away?
Yeah, I will allow that. So go ahead and make a roll. DC's 23. You actually rolled on the number that you needed.
Oh shit.
So it kind of looked weird, but you thought for a brief moment, kind of like a rift appear behind him, a grayish, almost silvery rift that he seems to very, very briefly for an instant have stepped through. And your impression is that he entered the ethereal plane via a blink spell.
Well, now where is he? Let me at him.
Jump in there with him. You're a plane traveler. Go to the planes.
I'll get him. I'll punch him right in the tentacly face. I don't know where he is. I don't know what to do. What I can do, though, is send some kisses over here to Gabrienne.
Oh, 7. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, kitties. Thank you.
All right, so you're healing.
Yeah.
All right, anything else?
I don't have anything to attack, so I will prepare a Bacon Kitty Nightmare Blast for when he comes back into visibility. Yeah.
Okay, that'll work. All right, so that's the end of round 2, and we're back at Abelard.
All right. Oh yeah.
Shit.
Oh, all right, so you pop out of your stun.
Do I have my turn, or is that at the end of my turn that I make the save?
You make at the end of your turn.
Okay, well, he's gone.
All right, Gabriel, you're up.
Let's see. Oh.
You guys got a little confident there. You're like 3 ghouls, 1 turn. This is easy.
He was last right here, so I'm just gonna go right where he was. Right? He was right there last.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I
Oh,
had
no, he
really
was right-
cool spells
Oh,
that
yeah,
I
yeah,
could
he was
have
right here.
used, but I decided not to because I only have 1 spell slot.
Yay, Warlock!
Yay, warlocks.
And I used
Oh.
Uncursify earlier, so.
All right. Ready to attack him if he appears within my range.
Okay. And then we're going to go to Barnabas, who I believe is still stunned at the moment, right?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Oh, it looks like you passed your save. Okay, good.
Could I still do a bonus action since it's the end of the turn, or no?
No, not at the end of the turn.
Okay.
All right. Whoops. So he's going to appear. So he was previously in Gavrian's square, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he shows right here at the start of his turn. So readied actions would go off.
Boom!
Yep, 25 is definitely going to hit him.
Totally got bacon.
13 damage.
So you slap him across the face with some crackling bacon. Let me just check something.
Christ.
It's cat-shaped bacon.
That gives him nightmares.
Close in the blast.
Not bacon-shaped cats.
Yeah, so it looks like you're doing 13 damage to him. Wait, you do 13 plus 4 radiant?
No.
So you did total 17?
No, the 4 is just if I had Hex on him, so it's only... Oh wait, actually,
okay.
since I'm level 9, I have
No,
2 beams, right? So I technically do it twice, because that's how Eldritch Blast
Yeah,
works.
you
So
should
I
have
do
a
it-
second bet.
so
Yeah, that's
I just-
correct.
I just do it one more time. I don't know if that one hits.
13 will miss, though.
Okay.
But the first attack did hit as you slap him across the face with crackling bacon. Gavrian, your first attack for 27 will hit as well.
Okay. 11 slash.
You did 11 slashing.
Gonna take off a tentacle.
You try to. You get him across the chest, but he's still alive as you guys, quickly blast some crackling energy to him. Gabriel, you see him fast, and you try to stab him twice with your glaive. You get him once in the chest with the other attack he dodges. He responds in kind by casting a spell of his own. Let's see. Yeah. Let me just check my spells here. All right.
Yes, exactly like that.
Except apparently it explodes at the end of it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see here.
There were a lot of options for Bacon Cat. I'm a little alarmed. I have hundreds of photos.
All cat. All cat.
So Gavrian, you look pretty slow, right? You're wearing heavy armor. Are you wearing heavy armor?
No, this is medium. The heaviest medium I can wear.
Okay, so you're wearing medium. All right, I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw. You see a thin green ray peer out of his pointed finger at you.
Dexterity.
That's very good. Very good for you. You were able to dodge the disintegrate spell that he just.
Oh shit! What the fuck?
You're not nice, Joe. You're not nice.
That's fucked up.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it would have been very bad. You just barely dodge it. It actually streaks right past your belly. It hits the wall behind you, and then you just see what looks to be like an area of the wall just completely disappear in green ash,
Guys, don't
creating kind of like this cube that just
Watch
got
out.
disintegrated.
Whoa.
Oh shit!
So
Yeah.
save last spell slot for counterspell. Okay.
Counterspell. Please.
And then let me see if he is disappear. Yes, he will.
Damn it.
Yep.
Ah, no.
And then let me roll his recharge.
Damn it.
Oh, okay. All right, so it's back to Nova.
Well, I'm gonna prepare another good old bacon blast.
All right. All right, and we're gonna go to Abelard.
I'm gonna chug a potion of greater healing. One of
All
the
right.
ones that I have. Because this guy has me scared. Seeing that ray take out the wall got me scared. And then yeah, I guess I'll just kind of spread out. So I'll move this way, just a spot. And that's it.
Okay, Gavrian.
Let me at him. Let me at him.
Same tactic. Go into his spot. And ready if I see him appear in range.
Okay. And let's see here, Barnabas.
I'm going to use a bonus action to convert side points into a second level spell slot. It's an ability I have, costs 3.
Yep.
And then I will move into the room. And upon appearance of the thing, I will attack it. Cast a spell at it.
And what spell are you casting?
It's called Ice Spike.
Ice Spike. Okay. All right.
Run wild with what it does.
Yes. All right, fair enough. So he is going to appear. So first, ready actions will go off. We're going to do Nova.
Ha! Ah!
15, unfortunately, will miss. And he sees it coming this time and ducks right under it, and it hits the wall right behind him.
Okay.
You get your second attack.
One more. I always forget that.
You follow up with your
Aha!
second blast, though, and you hit him in the hip. You do 12
12
force damage. Okay. Now Gavrian's attacks will go off.
All right. I'm going to attack recklessly. Just so I have advantage.
Ooh.
Oh, very nice. Those are 2 hits. One's a crit.
One's a crit. Do I get my bonus action too with or ready or no?
No, just a single action.
Okay, cool. So that is a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage.
A lot of damage.
14.
Yeah, that looks to be 33.
Ooh,
Is it 32? Yeah, you're right, 32.
32.
Yeah, that is pretty good. You notice that he is not looking good. You see him come. He's in the hallway behind you this time. You whip around really quick, kind of like whipping the glaive around your hip and then swinging it or actually piercing it just at his hip level. And you manage to get him. You pull it back, you notice there's no blood on it, but then you take a second shot right into his thigh and you cut with the glaive right above his knee, which hurts him pretty bad. You almost see him kind of stumble from that second attack, which was the crit. And he's looking like he's in a little bit worse shape now. But Barnabas is now able to get off his spell. I believe I think you can see him no problem.
Yep, I see him. So dex save 17.
All right. So dexterity saving throw. And he's going to crit his saving throw. So he succeeds.
So he takes half.
Right.
10 damage. Ice damage.
So what happens? Like a huge spike of ice just comes up out of the ground and tries to stab him?
Basically, yeah.
All right. He takes a step back and it only grazes his leg. So he's still alive. But like I said, in not too great of a shape. He is going to see Abelard right in front of him. And Abelard, I'm going to need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Hey.
Oh, that is going to fail.
And he's dust.
And he's dead. Goodbye, Abelard. It was a good game.
It's a good game, Abelard, now.
Nice to know, yeah.
Hopefully this isn't too bad. I get to roll this many d12s that often.
Oh, 31.
All right, so you're going to take 31 necrotic damage. What happens is that he pulls out what looks to be a broken bone and a square of silk. And as he covers the bone with the silk and does some movements with his hands real quick, you see a ribbon of necrotic energy come right out of his hands. And it shoots across the air directly into Abelard, who's unable to dodge it. And you feel it kind of spread all over across your chest. But fortunately for you, you are still alive and standing.
Fortunately.
Fortunately.
Always grateful for that.
Always grateful. All right. So let's see here. Let me roll my d20. And then also my recharge. All right. So he is going to disappear again.
Son of a bitch.
Oh my god.
Getting tired of that one. I'm gonna prep another nuclear butterfly blast this time.
All right. So Nova, it's you're up. So you're prepping another butterfly blast. Anything else?
Nope, that's
All
it.
right. All right, Abelard.
I'm gonna run over towards where he was, so I can move 40 feet. So I'm gonna go there,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna pull out my sling, and put a little rock in it, and kind of on a swivel here in case he's on either side of down those stairs or wherever he went. So I'll just prepare my sling to attack.
Okay.
And that's all.
Gavrian.
Yeah, let's see. He was there, so I always stand in his spot.
Okay.
It's been working so far.
It's been working. So, and ready to attack.
All right.
If I see
And Barnabas.
I will move up. Well, are we guessing he's in the middle there? I guess.
no.
Let's see.
I don't know. You know the magics of blink. How does it work?
Magic.
He doesn't seem to go very far.
I'm going to be ready to have somebody command to strike again, to have somebody hit it as soon as it appears.
Nice.
All right. So Commander Strike as soon as it appears
Yeah.
on somebody.
Mhm.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. So he is going to pop up into existence.
It's a little bastard.
There he is. Pretty close to Barnabas here.
Don't like that.
Nope.
Nope. All right. So Abelard, you cannot see him at the moment, correct?
No, correct. I cannot.
All
Where'd
right.
he go?
And so your ready to action does not go off. Gavrian,
Yeah.
can you see him? I don't think you can.
No, I cannot.
No. So your ready to action does not go off. Barnabas.
Nova,
and-
attack him.
Yeah, Nova gets hers first.
Finish
Guys, he's
him.
over here!
You get 2 attacks, Nova.
Well, he gets to dodge 2 butterfly blasts.
Boom, boom.
Oh, so
Oh,
2
shit.
dexterity saving throws.
Oh, come on.
Let's see.
Nimble little.
Good.
So you're doing it once
Damage
normal
rolls.
and then
Yeah.
once from Barnabas's ability, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay. And these are both dexterity saving throws.
Mhm.
You notice that he is very resistant to magic, and he succeeds on both of them.
What the heck?
Yes.
This
It's
is
not
max
necessarily
damage
that
roll!
he's fast. It's just that he's got some sort of innate ability that like helps him against magical spells. All right, so unfortunately, yes, he will succeed against both spells, and I don't think he takes any damage in that case.
Shit.
All
That was
right.
gonna be 20 damage each.
20 damage. All right, let's see here what I got with my.
You would've killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, butterflies.
No more butterflies. Not time.
Get with it.
All right, so I'm gonna need dexterity saving throws from Barnabas and Nova.
Ooh.
Yep, as you guys are hit with a
Oh, shit.
bolt of lightning.
Oh, shit!
Yikes.
He's the one who disintegrate. It's lightning. Yeah,
Oh,
just
fuck.
roll with it. Roll with it.
Don't.
Yeah, let me just make sure the damage here.
Dude, that could probably kill me.
Nah,
Yeah, I'm feeling threatened as well.
it'll be fine. It's not
The
too bad.
spellcasters, we left the spellcasters undefended.
I thought he was running away.
Me too.
All right, so Nova, you're gonna take a full 34 lightning. Barnabas, you succeed. You only take 17.
Ooh,
No, I'm not looking good.
our colors are changing. That is not the healthy green that it should be.
No,
And
no, it is not.
then I'm gonna move to here, and then let's see if I am able to blink away.
Don't blink.
No.
Oh, he's able to.
Ah!
Fuck this guy.
Fuck!
And let's see if I get my recharge. All right. So we're back up to Gavrian. No, I'm sorry, Abelard.
Shit, I don't really want to go in that room, but I guess I probably should.
Don't you run away from
Get
us.
in there, Gramps. This is our job.
Oh, his face. 20 feet. Alright. Shit, you guys look hurt. I'll
Thanks.
go over here.
My hair's like poofy, you
And-
know?
That's your hurt. Your hair gets poofy.
Actually,
I
I'll
got
go
zapped.
that way. I'll pull out my sling and prepare again. Prepare an attack again. If he
All right.
comes.
Okay, Gavrian.
Gonna move to the last spot I saw him. And ready to attack him if he appears in my reach.
Okay. I think I skipped Nova before, by the way. What was Nova's action?
The one that I was preparing. Oh, for my turn, because I didn't do it.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll take a potion of greater healing. Actually, that's what I'm gonna do.
Oh, you're gonna quaff a potion? Okay.
Mhm. Okay. Potion up.
All right. All right, and then Gavrian, you end up there. That's going to be your final destination. Okay, and then Barnabas.
All right. I'm cast that spell slot I created. I'm casting See Invisibility, which sees into the ethereal plane.
All right.
Show me your
Ooh.
secrets.
Haha!
So he is. Well, since it's his turn now anyway.
Oh, I still have an action.
Yeah. So you see him right there.
Perfect. I'm going to use a bonus action. I'm going to move all my allies within 60 feet up to half their speed. Abelard's going to be right next to him, right here. Gavrine's going to be right here. And Nova, you can be right here if you want. You don't have to move it. But that's where I
move
can
me.
move you all.
Move me.
So I'm
Alright.
cornering it.
So Gavrian and Abelard, you guys should move.
Oh,
yourselves.
okay. I see. Yep.
So I it's there, I yell, and you feel compelled to move to a certain spot. And then I'm going to move.
Wow. That was cool.
Do it again. Do it again.
I'm hurt. I'm running over here.
All right.
You deal with it.
So it's gonna go, and I believe Gavrian had a,
Yeah.
and so did Abelard.
Abelard.
So
Yes.
first, your action, Abelard. You're using a sling.
First.
Yeah, so I have disadvantage now since I'm right up against
Ah,
him.
you got a sling. Sorry.
No, it's all right.
I'm not using slings.
So I'm like pulling out my sling as I'm like incontrollably running towards him.
But you're a drunken
You're not
master. Just
you don't
kick
have
it.
to attack. If
Yeah.
you choose not to
Kick
attack,
it.
that's totally fine.
No, I'll still use the ready to action. It's just disadvantage.
That's correct. Yeah.
Still a chance. 14. I don't think that hits.
No, 14 will hit.
Aha!
That's good.
21. That's good.
21 will hit.
So I do.
Take it down.
Oh, I clicked it. A little lag, maybe.
Yeah, it's lagging a little bit for me too. I think it's just roll 20.
I ping him, and it hurts him.
Yeah.
An amount, which
Unknown.
is about to come. Should I click it again?
You can just tell me the damage that you see on the screen.
No, I don't. I don't see
Don't
it.
see it.
I don't see it.
It hasn't rolled.
Here, I'll hit it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, there you
Oh,
go.
maybe I fucked it.
So it's kind of awkward because he's like right in your face, and you didn't expect him to be that close to you. So like your first one like totally goes wide, but you get your second one like right up into his lower jaw.
Bing,
And,
bing.
like you did 9.
Tentacle?
Yeah.
Lower tentacle.
Nice.
Lower tentacle.
Yeah, his lower tentacle jaw. And I'm just making sure here is your sling. Your sling's not magical.
No. Oh yeah, see, look, it did lag. I'm not crazy. I'm not
5
crazy.
minutes
The
later.
second one just popped up.
Congrats.
I'm just gonna take the first damage roll then.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Please,
it hit
please
his
do.
tentacle, but you're not really sure how much of an effect that had. He kind of like brushes it off. You're not even sure it did much to him anyway. But Gavrian, your attacks go off now as well. And I know you're using a magical glaive.
Yes. So attacking recklessly again. Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, actually, your weapons are considered magical.
No, I think it has to be my fists.
I think it has to be a monk weapon, I thought.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
which is not a sling. A sling's not a monk weapon. It has to be melee.
Oh, okay. Lame.
Yeah.
All right.
Get out of here, Joe.
I appreciate you trying to help, though.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I tried. All right.
My
So,
unarmed strikes are magical.
The next room, it will be all you.
all right. So, having felt compelled to move closer to where the creature actually is, you see it pop up near you, Gavrian, and you take your glaive and you kind of do it in a chopping down motion. You're able to get the side of his arm for 8 slashing, but your second attack, your follow through, misses him. So he dodges.
No, it does not. I am attacking recklessly, so
Yeah,
I
both attacks
Oh.
advantage.
You actually
I
don't
am
miss him
pretty-
then.
Aha.
Wow, so you did a total of 33.
Nice.
Very
Damn.
nice. Oh, he looks in very, very bad shape now. He looks kind of surprised. You even hear him like gurgle and either in pain or anger. You're not really sure, but it sounds kind of like hideous. And you see him like dripping like black ichor out of his side. For the first time, you actually see this creature maybe bleeding. And I believe your turn is done, but he is still alive.
If this son of a bitch blinks away from me, I'm gonna freak the fuck out.
Well, no good. All right.
Don't worry, Barnabas seems to have the eyes of seeing now.
Let me in.
Yes.
You had a held attack too, right, Nova?
Hmm?
You had a held attack too?
No, I drank a potion.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's right.
I was hoping you'd kill it.
No.
She might.
Shit.
Next.
If he doesn't blink,
I'll move
Yeah.
you to it.
yeah.
Your next ready should be able to take it out. If he doesn't.
All right, let me just check something, making sure that one of my spells here can be
Swing away.
used. Yep. So you see him pop out of existence and reappear here.
Oh,
Where'd he go?
Oh,
Where'd he go?
sorry, not there. Here.
this son of a bitch.
Yep. Oh, that won't work. Never mind. I can't do that. We'll just stay where I am. See, he points, and crackling energy appears across his hand, and he shoots one final light
You son of a
out
bitch.
at both Abelard and yeah, it just like slams right into that hallway. So you two guys, Abelard and Nova, dexterity saving throws.
Fucking ass.
Okay.
Damn it.
Oh,
That's why you leave the room.
you are
Yeah.
not the gymnast.
So Abelard,
Really
you're
not.
fine. You like jump right over it,
Yeah.
and then like completely, you completely evade it.
Oh, thank
Holy
God I drank
crap.
that potion.
You're gonna take a full 36 lightning.
If I didn't take that potion.
And I have evasion, so I get no damage.
Yeah, no damage at all for you. So Nova, you are
Yeah.
fortunately still alive.
Woo.
Abelard, his body was kind of like blocking it, so it was totally unexpected to see this bolt of lightning just streak a count from under him. And then let's see if the guy actually fades away or not.
No.
Oh, he does. And let me see if he recharges.
This son of
We
a
got
bitch.
this.
You can still see him, right?
Just put your
Yeah.
sling away.
We got it. Yeah, Fling
yep.
was useless.
Okay, so
We can still see him. You didn't make it, just so you know.
Yeah, I know that. So I'm only keeping him on the map. You guys cannot see him except for
Okay.
I see him.
Barnabas,
Got
who
it.
sees him in that square, but
Where's
everybody
he
else
at?
cannot.
Where is he at?
Let me at him.
All right, so he's done. Nova goes.
Where is he? Did he disappear again? Where's he at, Barnabas?
I can't tell you. It's not my turn.
Shit. That you can just see. Fuck. Well, I'll ready another bacon kitty blast because that's been working out for me,
All right. Then we go to Abelard.
I'll just put my fists up and say, "Let me hit him."
Nice.
And I'll ready an attack if I come in range, if he appears in range of me, but I won't move at all.
Okay.
Actually, I'm
Gavrian?
gonna back into the corner.
Sure. You're doing
I'm holding
Gavrian's
my
tactic
fist.
where you stand in the square that he was last
Yeah.
in.
Sorry, Gavrin.
That's okay, so I'll have to choose a different spot. I'm going to go closer to Nova since she's not looking too well.
I have like
I'll
zapped
go here to defend
afro
her.
hair.
More hurt, bigger the hair.
And then I will ready to see the guy.
All right.
Guy appears.
And Barnabas.
How much does the potion that you gave us heal? The greater.
44 plus 4.
I drank one.
All right. Anything else?
Oh yeah, bonus action. I'm gonna move everyone.
Okay.
Abelard, you are going to be right here. Gabriel, you're fine where you are. Nova, I'm afraid that he's gonna try to line attack people again.
Yeah, spread us out.
So, I'm gonna move you over here.
Whee!
And
All
I'm done.
Okay. So ready to action is going to go off. First, Abelard when he appears right next to you.
Punch him in a tentacle.
Yeah.
Get
I'll
him.
give him a nice crack.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Wham!
Wham!
Shazam!
Where's the Shazam?
All right. You can roll your damage here and tell me what happened.
Snap
I
his
just come in and I
neck.
say, "It's about time," and I kick him in the shin with a crack, and then I give him a nice wham as I jump in the air a little and hit him as he bends over when I hit him in the shin, and I give him a nice punch in the head.
Nice. Your last punch in the head, you feel his skull crack,
Ooh.
and your hand as you pull it out, you see his black ichor, really sticky and gooey, come right out, and it smells like horrible death.
Cool.
Like the smell of undead, and he just plops down to the ground with a thud. Black ichor kind of coming out slowly out of his head, like it's seeping out, and you see him kind of quiver and shake a little bit, and his body is still. And then at the end of the combat, that was brutal, man. That was really long.
I'll come back into the room.
Wow.
I'll sit down.
I knew him.
Yeah, that guy
Take his
was
tentacles.
calamari.
That's right. Although it's undead calamari.
You got some cool moves, Grandpa.
Barnabas, was that you moving us around like that?
Yeah, I could see it, so I figured it would be better if you were closer to it.
That was sweet. That was cool.
Yeah. Keep
It was
doing
really
that.
fun.
That was very good.
Oh, you got it.
I'm poking the black ichor in his face and playing with the tentacles.
Well,
Oh yeah,
I guess that's room
pretty
number
bad.
one down.
His dagger looks really than almost alien in appearance, but his robes appear to be just kind of overall just tattered and ratty, and he smells, like I said, really bad. The stench of death is very, very heavy around him, and tucked into his like the inside of the clothes that he's wearing, which just appear really strange and kind of oily and waxy. You see a very tattered old book filled with what look to be arcane spells.
Ooh.
It's written in a strange alien language, something that you
Well, that's useless.
may
Eyes
not be
of
able to
the-
read.
I can read all writing if it has meaning. It's
Okay.
Eldritch Invocation.
So it doesn't appear to be a journal. It definitely looks like magical arcane. And with some, effort, you can identify a large number of spells in his book.
I'm gonna totally read it.
Give it to the non-wizard we have.
Yes.
Enjoy, nobody.
Nope. I can tell you what it said though.
Nice.
Nice.
Well, we're definitely connected to the Underdark. That makes it for certain that we fought that creature.
Yeah, you can make me an arcane using intelligence.
I rolled a 1.
Wow. Still got 14.
Well, you know what? Because of your past, I'll give you advantage on it.
Oh, perfect.
So we'll go with the 23. So you know that this is a pretty unique variety, not unique, but rare variety of elithids called alhoons that are basically undead varieties of mind flayers. They're typically outcast because they are spellcasters. They still have the ability to blast minds, but not the ability to eat brains because they don't eat because they're undead.
I'll relay that to everyone and tell them about the, elephants.
That's cool.
They eat brains. I point at the tentacles and I like move them and with my staff so they can see the beak.
Yeah, you can see that the tentacles though appear really dried and they're very stiff in appearance.
Yeah.
They don't really like wriggle that much. I mean, you're able to move them, but it's almost like an old, smelly octopus.
Bad sushi.
And on that note, it's a great line. I think we'll stop it there for the night.
Very good.
Woo!
Well, we lived.
You did live. So I assume you guys can, you can spend your hit dice if you're choosing to take a short rest or not.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
You find this room, like I said, pretty well lit, but there's no real treasure here. You can see that the floor is littered with pickaxes, and there's some permanent continual torches on the walls. And then to the north, there's a tunnel that goes for about 20 feet, and then you see kind of a staircase at the end of it. And then to the south, you see a staircase that descends at the minimum 60 feet. For those with longer dark vision, like Nova, you can see that at the bottom of the staircase, which only descends exactly 60 feet, you see a small landing on the ground.
I can see everything.
And then a very, very long. As you get to the bottom, Nova, and you kind of, for a moment, you think you hear what sounds like thud, 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 thud. And then it kind of gets a little bit more distant, and then you hear it get louder. Thud, 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 thud. And then it gets distant. So it seems to be some sort of sound that sounds like footsteps, and it gets louder as it gets closer to you, and then it fades as it gets farther away. Also, from what you could tell, where you stand 35 feet down or so, you notice that there's what looks to be a small alcove to the left.
There's more ways down here.
And then past that, another 30 or so feet to the left and right, you can tell that there is a rough tunnel to the right side, and then what looks to be a sharp corner of a worked stone wall to the left. But this area is entirely blanketed and you don't see any actual light. So we'll go ahead and stop there for the night. I think this is a good place to stop.
Oh,
I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, man.
For one shot.
Very
Well,
scurry.
that was an intense combat for sure.
Yeah, 9th level combats. Although I think you guys are 9th level in our Storm King's Thunder game.
Yeah,
So,
we are.
yeah.
I'm sorry, my audio cut out there for a little bit. We just took a short rest, yeah?
Yeah, that's right.
I get my spell slot.
Yeah.
My one spell slot that I use. Out of 2 whole spell slots.
Nice. That was fun. Even though I didn't get to hit him until the end of it.
You got the killing blow, the epic blow.
It was worth it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's good.
I could have done like so many things. I could have used so many spells. I was like thinking maybe I
That
should.
blink ability.
It's so hard with the warlock.
Frustrating.
I know. Like should I use
Just
it? I
have
don't
those
know.
2 slots.
Yeah. Yeah, the warlock's tough in that way.
Yeah, Blink's a really good spell. And it doesn't require concentration. Like, even better.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I got the invisibility. We got this.
Yeah.
Yeah. That allows you to do any spell? Or
No,
the spell
I
has to be
selected
like... Oh, what did you actually select? I guess it's on your character sheet.
Yep, I have see invisibility, mirror image, and counterspell.
Very good choices. Very, very good choices.
Always take counterspell.
Oh yeah.
Alright, cool. Alright, so thanks for playing. We'll pick it up in a couple weeks on the 15th. And we may or may not be done that night. I doubt we'll be done, but we should definitely be done by the 29th.
Okay.
Cool.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Alright, cool. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, that was lots of
It was
fun.
an awesome game.
Yep.
Alright, cool.
See
I
you in a
will
couple weeks.
talk to all you guys later.
All
Talk
right.
to you later.
All right.
Thank you for
Good
playing.
night, everybody.
Good night.
Later.